little taste of Montreal before our trip. This is the Bennington Show. Wednesday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I'm Ron Bennington. Vito is sitting in the Chris seat because Chris is working out some other details in the other room.
He's got some business he's doing.
And we don't like when he types a lot or whispers in the corner.
What did you say?
No, fuck me over. I have to fucking go back to Rome just to fucking kill you. You understand me? Fucking come down there and I'll fucking kill you. And I'll go, what are you saying over there? There's so many times that, like, his phone will ring and he'll just pick it up and he'll just go a couple feet away from me and I'll just like, I'll fucking destroy you. Do you understand me? I'll put the full fucking power of Sirius XM up your ass. And I'm like, Chris, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's great. I'm going to fucking tell him if you don't shut the fuck up.
I love when he actually emotes while he's writing an angry email. Like, you can see his face, like, if he thinks that he can tell me.
That fucking crazy typing that he does. Just crazy. There's no room. There's no reason to be typing this much. All right, it is the Bennington Show. Big DNC night last night. Bill Clinton came out. The Bill Clinton of the 90s, and talked about his lifetime bromance with Hillary Clinton and how the two of them, I guess she was running everything all these years. If you go by that speech, he was a puppet president and she was coming up with all the ideas.
He's just a boy standing in front of a girl.
Trying to say, elect me. Would you elect me? It's weird that the Dems get the, kind of more famous speakers because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Is tonight Barack Hussein Obama?
I think that is tonight. Yeah. And then is the vice president?
Biden and Obama tonight.
Rachel Maddow was really funny afterwards because she had a big problem with all the romance talk and found it to be creepy and weird.
I was not a fan of it only because it's so not Hillary to me. Like, I thought
that's what he was doing. He was painting a new Hillary, a Hillary that he knew.
Yeah, I just feel like that style of campaigning, it just doesn't remind me of her. And I think that to me, it's like, it's that stuff that you see, like the Cruz family, like we're this kind of a I just feel like I would agree with her.
Look, this is the beauty of this. Everybody can accept every kind of sexual strangeness, except for a guy who's a serial fucker. He gets in trouble. But, we're supposed to applaud for how brave every other sexual quirk is.
Yeah, if your partner isn't in on it, though.
Who says? We do not know what their marriage is. And when we sit and guess.
But that's not even why I didn't like what he was doing. I just thought that style of just the romance, it was like this girl, like I agree with her on that.
Anybody who's said that has never followed the Clintons. I remember in 92 there was this picture of Hillary and she had on an apron and she was putting these cookies into an oven and everyone said, come on, those are store-bought cookies. These two people grew up in Arkansas down-home politics. That's who they are. And they will do anything and say anything to reach an audience. But I think this has more to do with Bill's sexuality than anything else. And they're like, well, how could she be a feminist if that's who these fucking two people are.
I don't think that's what Rachel Maddow was saying.
I know it is. I know she's sitting there acting like I want Hillary to be the kind of woman that I am. When people are like offended by somebody's lifestyle, they're always saying they're not like me. It's the same thing that church people say about gay people. You know what I mean? This is weird. I don't do that. The Clintons have their own kind of marriage. Whether you dig it or don't dig it, it's between them. It's literally between them. But this is the one thing that we all don't stand up and cheer for when it comes to sexuality is people like the Clintons.
I I think that, especially because you were saying that Bernie undermines Hillary, I think that Bernie was when he spoke, he was treating her like a peer in that way. To me, this like wifey stuff was a lot more undermining to what she does. And he definitely got to the point where he talked about her as a politician and the incredible stuff that she's focused on and what she's capable of. He did get there.
She spent half her adult life as a wife and mother. Half her adult life. Why that's thrown to the side as if that's not as important in their partnership. They always had this weird partnership. They still will if she's elected. And that looks light right now. If you look at it, it's all about Donald Trump. I thought the thing that Hillary will win or lose on, they've attempted to do last night, the glass ceiling. But I don't think that women have the same drive towards that type of thing as white dudes do. White dudes know how to say, if we make this thing happen, it's good for business. You know what I mean? We've been doing it since day one, coming out of the cave. Hey, me and you can beat that dude over there. Why are we fucking, you know what I mean? Why are we fighting him one-on-one?
Yeah, and then the last 8 years, you guys decided, you wanted, when Hillary ran against Barack, the idea was, let's get the first black president first. I mean, definitely
white men voted for against Barack Obama.
More white men voted against Barack Obama than the Republican in both.
No way. No way.
That's what I'm asking.
No. White men voted for Romney, big time. And white dudes are pretty close to 100%, I think, right now. I would just like to take this down to it's all really, any election is about sex and race. I think that's the only way to look at it. And you have to say, is that person like me? Like, I don't think white guys would ever vote for somebody who, I think they're going to vote for a pure white guy. First,
no matter what.
No matter what. I think.
I would have assumed that that the majority of white males in the U.S., I would have imagined that you would still have to win that vote in order to win the presidency for Obama.
Then no, absolutely not. You cut into it. But Obama had something like, 93, 94% of the black vote. Could you imagine if Hillary had 93 or 94% of the white woman vote? Forget about it. It's over. There's not more white men than there's white women.
No, I know, but it seems like enough of a majority in this country that you can't lose that vote.
Yeah, you can lose that vote if, and this is what, this is what Trump's biggest problem is that's pretty much the white people are his only vote. I mean, he's, kind of said shit about every other minority. So Hillary should get those votes, right? She's totally going to lose the white man vote. But if she has the white woman vote, that'll be it.
Too bad Palin couldn't have counted on the white woman vote.
Palin didn't even show up at the Trump thing at all. I mean, it's amazing how fast you can be out in that business. You know what I mean? A couple bad things happen, and suddenly, you're not a big deal anymore. I mean, Newt Gingrich was a gigantic person in politics, and nobody out there wanted Trump to take him. And that's why it'll be interesting what happens with Christie. You know what I mean? Like, Christie has pushed all in on this Trump deal. But another fun night, another enjoyable night. I think that both of these conventions have been entertaining. And then I talk to people who don't see them, and I go, how could you not? You know what I mean? How could you not watch? I thought this was interesting that, Fox ran away with the RNC, most people watching Fox more than anybody else. But now CNN is at the top, and Fox is way low. And I'm like, Oh, so people don't like to watch the other party? I thought that was even more fun than watching your own party.
Yeah.
You could sit there and go, look at these assholes.
Well, yeah, because it's so much easier to complain.
Right.
It's like when it's people who agree with you and you watch their missteps, it's very uncomfortable. And you're like, ugh, I wish they hadn't said that. I wish they hadn't done this. But when if you're watching the other side, you can actually have fun with being angry.
Cajun Jack said that the purpose of the spouse speech is to humanize them, just different because it's coming from a male.
Yeah, I'm sexist. That's why I said it, because it's coming from a male.
Well, I mean, the thing was, it's odd to see the husband on stage talking about like what a wonderful person, she's, because the last time 8 years ago they sold Hillary like she was some kind of warrior. You know what I mean? She was going to destroy this and that, and she knew more about defeating and So this time they've taken it back a step. But yeah, if you look at Melania, no one's going to say she makes it look like Donald Trump doesn't even fucking go to work. You know what I mean? Because that is the kind of purpose of that speech. He's in the old school wife position, and the weird thing about him is he's fucking digging it. Like, he's loving this role. He was so comfortable last night. What is Don doing in town?
Hey, I thought he was going to be in...
I thought you were you're not in Montreal? I thought you were in Montreal.
No.
No, I know you're not.
Tonight.
No, tonight you're going to be there.
I'm trying.
All right, buddy.
Might be tomorrow.
Okay.
See you in Montreal.
All right. This trip seems like it's going...
First class, right?
Feels like one of us.
Some of us have first class.
Does that come with a lunch? Because it's almost an hour in the air.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much.
What are you going to a promenade later, Coach? Coach is wearing that a lovely summer dress today.
It's a very beautiful summer dress.
People don't realize that a long dress, if it's light, is very cool. Like, yes. People see a long dress, they're like, oh, that's hot, but you keep the sun off of you.
That is the coolest possible thing. I actually feel bad for men that you can't wear a long dress or long skirt.
I think after Caitlyn Jenner and Hillary Clinton, I think men can start wearing.
I think it's skirts. Like one of Vito's lifelong dreams is to be able to wear them.
No, it's not the being able to wear a dress. It's just I think it's not fair that women can look professional in a nice dress that keeps you really cool. And like if you're a dude and you wear shorts and a tank top, which is pretty much the same amount of clothing as a dress, you look really unprofessional.
I think hairy armpits are unprofessional. I think if you shaved your armpits, people would be okay with it. But the problem with what you're talking about, hairy legs, hairy armpits.
Now, do you think a woman who doesn't shave would have a difficult time in the workplace if she wore a spaghetti strap dress?
I think people would be talking about her. Like, what's with the hippie?
They just look so comfortable in those dresses. And
you can wear a house coat tomorrow if you want. That can be your new look.
You want to know what item of clothing I wish was more socially acceptable and not mocked?
What?
The fanny pack. I think it's very functional. I wish that first it was like nerd dad and then it was like obnoxious hipster look. So no matter like if you wore it, it was just like a no-go. But it's a very functional thing. It's nice to not have a purse or a backpack.
I can't get on you with that one.
You don't like a fanny pack?
I don't like I like the 90s wrestlers who wore fanny packs. They were cool, but
exactly.
It just died out for me after that.
That's what I'm saying. I'd like to wear bicycle shorts and a fanny pack.
Chris, a lot of people are complaining that they haven't heard back from you on their Montreal Amass tickets.
I've emailed people multiple. I sent out email reminders 2 days ago, actually, but I will recheck the email and get back to them.
So you don't send them individually, right? You send like a mass email?
I send individual and mass emails.
Well, Tony says he's registered. He hasn't heard anything, and somebody else did too.
I'm going to look into this.
Thanks. Look into following our Twitter.
Got it.
Yeah, the fanny pack, it just, if something becomes a joke, it's hard to come back from it. You know what I mean? Like every couple of years, I'll read this thing about how Members Only is trying to, rebrand themselves. I'm just like, start a new company because there's been too many jokes. I see nothing wrong with that jacket. It's just the jacket, but it represented something else to people. You know what I mean? It's like the kind of jacket a ball player would wear at night because it's close to being a baseball jacket.
It's a light.
But at some point, people got mad at them, and I think it had less to do with the clothing and more about commercials they were making.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a good look.
It's a baseball jacket.
Yeah, it's a lightweight, multifunctional.
I like it. I'll wear that.
But if you wear it, believe me, you know what people will say to you?
What?
Oh, look, it's the last member. That joke I've heard a million times in my life.
Classic, though.
And I couldn't tell you why everyone, yeah, it's great. And then I'll laugh. Like, look at that douche. You know, like I'm not on the front lines of it, but I love being part of that dog pile. You know, I'll just scream out dog pile and fall on the guy once he's, already down. But yeah, there's something like once, and this has happened to the fanny pack. Once it had that problem of looking ridiculous, you're not going to get out of it.
I have one for like jogging, so you can put your phone and your keys in there and not have.
But those are specific. That's like a fitness specific thing.
I know,
They
but
have, like,
when I bought it,
on them.
I was like, why can't I use this in life? Because I love the way I love being free.
I think when you're jogging, you should be carrying a briefcase, a Madman briefcase the whole time.
Okay, I wish that mine was that cool, but mine is more like sleek and modern, like that one up there, like the black one. That's what mine looks like. But I like the ones that are like neon blue.
They look like the 80s when they were invented.
So great. I love them.
Do you wear yours around the back or around the front?
Front. What do you
They're
mean?
made to be wearing around the back.
What?
That's why they're called fanny packs.
Yeah, but I think they're British invention. Don't you call it vagina?
Geez. They do. And that's why they laugh whenever we say fanny. I don't
are they really supposed to be worn on the butt?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. They can go either way. They can go back or front.
But originally they were back, right?
Well, originally, who gives a fuck, Vito, if we're going to be totally honest about it?
I'm just going to say, as a shape of a woman, I have a butt back there. Where exactly? This is supposed to like
That's
sit
the
on
shelf.
top
Yeah.
of my butt?
Yeah.
That's very
Holds
uncomfortable.
up the fanny pack, and then you go back and you grab stuff out of there.
No. Front fanny or bust.
Did you get a chance to talk to Don about that possible other unmessed?
Yeah, he's totally down for it.
Down for it or down with it?
Both.
It's down for it. You know what I mean?
He's with us.
Aggressive.
He's with us. I'm working out details now.
That was crazy to look up and see him standing there. You just told us you were going to have all the rooms ready.
Huh? You know this isn't Montreal, right?
We got to come up with something that's better than a fanny pack for people who don't want to. You know what I mean? They don't want to. Could there be an elbow pack? You know what I mean?
You know what? I've seen people wear, when they're jogging, a band on their arm where the cell phone, your iPhone, can fit in the band. And I still think the fanny pack is a better design, but I think that
It's
people
for runners?
for runners.
But that's
Wait.
just the phone. That's just
Hold
for
on.
the phone.
I got the perfect title for this. Band on the Run.
That's great. I
Get a
hope-
hold of Paul McCartney. He said, ask him if he's done that song in a long time. And tell him that I'm trying to come up with a Venus and Mars, too. I don't know how I'm going to do it, though. But I actually prefer that song. I like the beginning part of that song.
Just the first.
It sounds very Beatles for a second, you know? And then all of a sudden we're into Band on the Run. So he's putting up that instead of the song. Okay, great. Thanks. I got a visual. All right, it is the Bennington Show. I have on a Thursday, but my producers are kind of drunk. This is a Wednesday. I think the most exciting story out there is that these scientists, who I guess they do this live on the internet, where they show you their explorations. They've got some kind of, I'm going to call it an underwater drone. I don't know what the real name is. So they're down at the bottom of the ocean. And if you follow them, I think it's called Nautilus Live. If you follow them live, you can explore the ocean with them. And as they're looking down at this, they see this purple blob. I believe it to be an alien sack of some kind. Bring up the volume. You're producing.
Get it? How's the ship?
Well, they do move quick.
But there's a giant crab near it trying to protect it.
Yeah.
It's so weird looking. It's neon purple with a neon pink center.
I get it.
We might be in an all-out battle here right now.
And as they're talking, they're unsure if this is an animal. They're unsure if this is an egg sac
First of all,
of some
let's stop
animal.
it for a second.
It could be. I mean,
That is just gorgeous.
It's so pretty. It looks like a galaxy. It actually looks like a weird, like, cloud galaxy.
Okay, like in Men in Black, that would be where the galaxy existed that the cat was wearing. But could it be a crab sack of some kind? Because why is that crab looking like it's trying to protect it?
I thought when I saw the crab going for it, I thought the crab was trying to eat it. Or just, like, figure out if it was an edible thing.
But didn't the crab have all the time in the world to do that before this Nautilus showed up?
So strange looking.
It's beautiful. But wasn't there, like, I remember we were listening once on a family trip to some Michael Crichton book on tape.
Yeah, it was called The Sphere.
The Sphere. That was it. It was scary as shit as a book. And I remember when the movie came out, it wasn't. But when we were listening to we were on some kind of fucking family trip when the kids were little, and we were listening to it, man. And I was just fucking looked down once. I'm driving like 98 in a fucking family truckster. Oh, fuck!
I think that the deep sea is the most terrifying thing on Earth to me. Like, just endless darkness and then not knowing what's out there, and then what's out there is worse than anything you could imagine. These creatures are like the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, we're finding new stuff all the time. And in this case, crab sacks.
Weird.
Now, we know how crabs, I mean, this can't be related to a crab somehow, because we're
pretty familiar with crabs.
Yeah, we know crabs, and that doesn't look like some crab we've never seen before. I saw, I was reading the comments, people are like, you're fucking with that thing's crab sack. I'm like, well, we eat crabs. Don't act like we don't do shitty things to crabs.
Roe. We eat roe.
All right, go ahead and, roe's delicious.
Because it's got a little embryo type thing inside.
Maybe it's a spider egg sac.
Maybe it's a spider egg sac. You just
this is a scientist.
For a second. Yeah, the scientists are as dumb as you and your friends. That's the fucking beauty of science. That we get turned off, but if we could have just stayed with it, we could just be another fucking having fun dumb scientist.
Yeah, you're just not curious enough. It's not your lack of smarts.
Dude, maybe that's some kind of a spider sack down there.
Okay, dude, what are you doing here?
I have studied the ocean from above and beyond. Believe me, I've got a surf's eye view of everything that happens in the ocean.
I haven't seen this dude in ages.
It's good to be back. By the way, I'm with Herb. Get it? I'm with Herb.
This is pretty good.
I added a B to it. All my friends are fucking into it now. But this crab sack, Oxtius bolacus. All right, go ahead and hit it again. This is amazing.
they usually have them on their underbelly and their abdomen.
Yep.
They carry them around.
Yeah.
So how do we get it, Lee?
She is right about that. The fucking crabs have this weird...
Right.
I thought that crab was eating an orange when I caught one time.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and then when I heard, that was the babies, I was like trying to shake it off. I was like screaming.
Help!
Wow! Baby, stop on my fucking chicken! All right, go ahead.
Hesitation in my voice there. Did you hear?
This is up on the iBang, by the way. You got to see it. It's stunning.
Server, do we need to put it in a bio box?
Look at how it's just like this pink center of it is so.
And is it floating or is it stuck onto something?
We don't want to clog the slurp.
No.
It looks like it's stuck onto that thing.
It kind of does.
And that's the only thing that comes out. Nothing else over there comes out.
There, like 4 centimeters.
I think that crab is worshiping it.
What's the
Could be
diameter?
like six,
Yeah, maybe it's
seven.
just protective over it. Like, don't like the way animals get protective over like squirrels get protective on nuts and stuff.
They're not,
Like
but that's
a
their
disco
food,
ball
dude.
right now,
Yeah.
the
That's
laser
why they're
next-
protective.
Michael, did you
Hold
hear
on,
the news?
let's stop it for a second.
Those kind of smarts, he could be a scientist.
Aren't you fucking protective that goddamn pork burger that you went through the other day in like 8 seconds? No one was going to get that out of your jaw. This is something different. This is an alien life form at the bottom of the ocean, hoping humans bring it back. And then the disease can start.
That's when it begins. This is an alien life form.
Pandemic. It's a pandemic, guys.
Crab people.
The weirdest stuff that we have on this planet is in deep sea. Like that is all the most alien looking creatures.
Dude, I don't know. Go down to South America and take a look at those fucking spiders and worms and shit. I mean, nature is as gross as hell. Nature is disgusting.
There was this deep sea, I think it was like a blue planet, the deep documentary, where it just goes through just like the most insane creatures. And there's this one called a gulper eel that I still, like, I have nightmares about this thing. That is just,
Don't look up anything.
It's 90% just a head with just this weird, like, eel-like tail.
That's called a sperm, what you saw.
And then it opens its mouth. Like, it can eat something its own size, pretty much. Its mouth, it's mostly mouth.
Well,
With just like this terrifying little beady eyes.
A snake can get its goddamn snake jaws around a pig.
This is way scarier looking than a snake. Way scarier.
You try saying that if you had to sleep in a fucking bed of snakes. Ugh. I wouldn't do it. I'd say, I'm out of this game. What was that game that used to be of doing gross shit?
Fear Factor.
Yes, Fear Factor. And I was the only one who was on the side of the people who tapped out. Like when everyone would get mad that somebody wouldn't eat a, galoot or something. I'm like, good for you. Get off that show immediately.
Eat it!
People would be furious if somebody did not eat something disgusting.
It was mostly genitals of other animals as well. It was pretty much the...
Well, wasn't the end of them donkey jizz or something? There was some kind of a weird...
There was semen somewhere involved.
And they were like, we're tapping out on the show. We got giant ratings, but we're not going to let people... we're almost blowing donkeys on TV now.
I think that they just put them in like little snack pack cups with little spoons. It's like, everyone get a cup of donkey sperm and eat up, or else you don't win.
Was the money even worth it? I don't even think it was like huge money prizes. I think it was like a weekly winner of like $5,000.
But the fame.
And it was you either eat something gross or you like walk on something really high. Those are your two choices.
All right, let's go back. I want you to see what they do with this thing. They
diameter of the slurp.
You know what? I'm not too sure. When did you?
They decide that they want
put
it.
it up against it before I try on section. We'll see if it fits.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
Move us a little further ahead.
it might be squishy.
But here it comes. So they've got this weird robotic arm that has a vacuum on it.
And it's going to slurp this thing up.
Now, these are scientists who have no idea what this thing is. And they go, well, let's just get a vacuum and suck it up.
We're waiting.
What if it was attached to something? They're just fucking with nature here.
Wait, hold on.
Wow.
Hold on. Stop this for a second. I want to go back to your theory.
Yeah.
They're fucking with nature. What else have humans done since Jump Street?
He's like, nature is none of my beeswax.
We should know better by now.
What do you mean? By now, what lesson? What lesson was learned?
Are you telling me if somebody was walking along, let's say Australia, and they saw this thing, they wouldn't pick it up and throw it in their fanny pack?
They better not. Look, all I'm saying is this thing could have been part of a larger organism. When they just bring out a goddamn sea vacuum, so it's shop vac down there.
First of all, that's the dumbest theory I've heard yet. What larger organism? You think it was a nose and the whole thing was going to come sucking out?
Possibly. Throwing it out there. Yeah, Gail, maybe.
I can't believe
any of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the craziest thing.
And the animals like that glowing purple orb, the animals at the bottom of the ocean that can glow are the weirdest fucking things in the world.
Well, first of all, do we have
bioluminescent?
Do we have a purple animal up to this point?
There's birds that have, like tropical birds have purple feathers. There are some purple feathers. What's another purple?
Purple snake?
I guarantee there's going to be like a poisonous frog that might be purple.
Where would that guarantee come from?
I guarantee it. Like there's
nothing to guarantee.
Look, you've got the Bennington guarantee. When I promise a purple frog, I'm sure that there is a purple poisonous frog.
This is something you can look up, Vito. I want to see if the purple poisonous frog exists.
I feel like I've seen it, and I kind of vaguely remember it being bespeckled as well.
Are you thinking of Barney?
No.
That's a dinosaur.
We have the purple poison dart frog.
Yeah!
Okay.
You got the Bennington guarantee.
First of all, that thing is amazing, and I've never seen it in my life.
And bespeckled, as promised.
Wow.
Look at how insane that is.
Where is that at in the world?
Amazon?
I'm going to guess Amazon too.
This is not going to be a Bennington guarantee.
Central and South America.
You should have stayed with it.
I should have stayed with it.
Ooh, look at his friend.
His friend who's not purple?
His friend.
Is
that a Pedro?
That's like a yellow jacket of a frog. Horrific. Anyway, you can see these things up on the iBang. I have no idea what it is. I feel like we've all made the discovery because we're every bit on top of it.
Yeah.
But are they going to give us the answer, what we've seen there?
Well, they said that it's going to take them a while to determine if it is a new species, and if it is, what kind of species it is. It's not going to be a fast turnaround. So they're going to have to figure out exactly what this thing is first. But I hope that they will make an official announcement.
They should just burn it. Just let's get this thing over.
I'll burn it.
They gotta have some incinerators in the lab, right?
I thought you said you didn't want them to fuck with nature.
Well, now that they've ripped it out of its fucking home, yeah, burn this dude.
All right. Jerkster Sean just sent us a picture of what's called a blanket octopus. I've never seen this before. Like, if you had to sit around and name the amount of animals, fish, and birds that you know, where do you think that you would tap out on?
It's like, maybe like 50 to 60, maybe?
I think I could probably go high 90s, and there's got to be like 500,000 things. Easy.
Like what?
Just look up this for us, Vito. Number of species that we know of on the planet Earth now. And by the way, they say something like 99% of species that ever existed are extinct.
Right.
This is why humans are so stupid. This is like going into rehab. The odds are already against us.
Yeah, it's not going to work out.
It's against every species. All right, you got the answer? Everyone just try to guess what it is.
I'm going to say 900,000.
I'm going to say 1 million.
I went with 500,000.
We have 8.7 million species tagged, with 80% species still undiscovered.
Ow! Here's what would really make me mad. If I had to come up with all the species that exist, and I forgot duck.
You forgot.
How did I miss duck?
And I like ducks, too. That's the weird thing. I really like them.
I like them crispy, that's for sure.
I feel like scientists, though, like the guys who have the job of identifying them, are splitting hairs on a lot of these things. Like, I'm sure there's like 20 kinds of different ducks at least. Well, you could just say duck, and then that cuts down fucking to 19 off that 8.7.
Those ducks that you see are actually different species.
But it's still a duck, you know?
No. Yes, it's still a duck.
Kingdom, phylum, class, order. Yes, there is a group called duck. But then we can break it down further. They actually have this covered. They've figured it out, Chris.
I feel like they're penning their numbers with 8.7 million.
Well, I'm going to give you some break there, but like if someone said to me, I discovered a new species, up until moments ago, I would have been impressed. Now, with 8.7 million, I'm not. Now, I want you to check, is that alive right now on the planet, or is that all time?
Is this
on our planet?
currently?
Right now, on our planet, there are 8.7 million, and then they say give or take 1.3 million.
Well, I'm not giving or taking. I want to fucking know. So look,
some of them are made up.
That's just about the size of New York City, right? So imagine if you created a New York City with just one of each species.
Right.
And that was and then let's see how all these species do together. Now, the thing is, if you're going to Noah's Ark it, you got to double down.
Yeah.
So you would have figured Noah had to come up with 16 million species. Now, let's give him this break. Anything in the water, he didn't have to fucking put on the boat.
True.
That's nice.
At first, he thought he had an aquarium and he was throwing stuff in there, and then God was like, "What are you doing? They're going to be fine." I don't think
you're actually making it worse.
I mean, I know that we got into a thing where God talks like Batman, but I just saw Batman and Superman the other day. Noah. What? Where are all the species? It's just me and my kids. This is very hard to do. I'm not a scientist. I'm a boat maker. Does the term ark even get used outside of Noah's Ark? Is that the only time?
Like, I took an ark to the Bahamas.
No one's ever said, I'm invited out on my friend's ark this weekend.
Okay, it's a beautiful ark. He's pretty well off.
It's great. We can dive off the front of it. Every boat, fucking people just go, can we dive off this? And you're just like, dude, we're on a boat. Why do you want to be in the water? Go to the fucking beach then.
I did that just when we were on our trip, and it was just a tiny rowboat. I'm going to dive off this. Please don't capsize this boat.
You have a beach right over there. Just go to the beach
Yeah,
then.
but I'm in deep water. It's cool.
People love to jump off of a boat. All right, it's the Bennington show on a Wednesday. You're calling? Is this your Thursday thing?
Yeah, I wrote Thursday instead of Wednesday.
Is it a funny thing?
No, I really thought it was Thursday today.
Why are they playing so many jokes, Vito?
I don't like playing jokes. I just thought it was Thursday.
Vito, look around. Are you on a plane right now?
No.
Then it's Wednesday. That's what I'm going to tell you. Penn Jillette Unmasked happening Wednesday, August 3rd, 12:30 at the SiriusXM studios in New York City. Write to us at the interrobang.com for a chance to win free tickets. Maybe Chris will get back to you. I don't know. He hasn't been doing that.
It's a gamble.
I'm getting back to everyone.
You know what? We're coming into lazy August, and that's like a nice time to treat this place as if it's, summer camp at best. That's why Vito wants to wear shorts and a tank top. By the way, you can hear,
It just looks bad.
I thought you said that they can't wear, there's a rule that you can't wear shorts.
It's his rule.
It's a weird thing where, I wore shorts one day, and then 3 people came up to me and were like, no, you can't wear shorts here.
Who?
Name names.
Dan told me that it was a big thing.
Wait, hold
Dan?
on.
Mr. Dan Man?
Dan Spaventa told me you
Dan
can't
who
wear
gets
shorts here.
high.
The P Musketeer told you this. That's who you're going to listen
doesn't
to.
shut up while we're pissing is going to say, is Dan working or is he still at a fucking...
I'll see if he's still hungover. I'll text him.
All right, what else? Who else?
Dan was the main person who was in the office with me being like, I can't believe you wore shorts today. It's a pretty big understood thing here that you can't do that. And then I was terrified all day because
it's a lie. I think a bunch of people that used to work for us wore shorts all summer.
You should wear a sarong. I see plenty of dudes wearing those. It's like a man skirt.
Say one.
I don't think that's very common at all. I see
Festivals.
women wearing them.
how do you spell that?
If you can't spell it, you can't wear one.
How do you spell it then, hotshot?
SARONG.
Oh, shit!
SARONG.
It's funny because he's got a hot shot. It's sarcasm.
Oh, I'm going to start saying it that way. Sarcasm. Didn't people used to wear shorts all the time?
I remember Dave coming in with shorts a few
Never.
times.
I've seen.
He never wears shorts.
I've seen Roland in shorts.
Thank you. Roland wears shorts in the winter.
He wears basketball shorts.
Yeah, and
no matter what the temp.
A basketball and or Springsteen shirt. That's a really good point. every day Roland wears shorts, even in the winter.
But he doesn't sit upstairs where you.
Oh,
got
well, you're not
people.
upstairs. You're here. No, you're not some fucking.
You're one of
no,
us.
nothing fucking board op running from show to show. I mean, we're saying at this point, if you want to wear shorts, you can.
Please feel comfortable to wear them.
The downside is you won't look upwardly mobile if you wear shorts.
What does that mean?
It means you'll look like you want this to be the last position of your career.
Oh.
You don't want to be one of the bosses.
And that's what I was saying before. It doesn't look, it's not a good look.
Then that's why you should be wearing a jacket and a shirt every day.
Well, I get a little too hot for that.
You got to dress for the job you want, as they say.
Yes, not the job you're going to be fired from.
Which is why I always wear my astronaut costume. Never given up hope.
I dress as a cowboy, a fireman, and a chef for some reason. Chef's clothing always looks the most comfortable.
It is very comfortable. Well, they wear good shoes.
And they always have, like, they're not sweatpants, but they're every bit as comfortable.
It's a light material.
Zubaz.
And then, I don't think it's Zubaz.
I wish that they would. Man, put that in the fanny pack category.
Yeah.
I wish it could come back.
If this was 92, we'd all be wearing Zubaz. And then here's the other thing I like about chefs, the double buttons.
Yeah, they have the flap that buttons here.
Pretty
it's
much
like almost like a samurai look.
Yeah, almost like they're in the English military. But of the 1800s.
Maybe no samurai has ever had a jacket like that.
Samurai just wear a nice, comfortable sheet.
Yeah,
over
that's
their
a
head.
robe.
I mean, they are one mask away from being KKK. And that's it.
That's a good look.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of almost like a mandarin collar. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
The Benihana one's nice too.
Yeah.
Boy, that's
weird.
Yes, that's a chef cloth. That's chef clothing.
It's probably my number one rated chef uniform.
I don't remember the last time I've been to a Benihana. And there used to be when we worked over on K-Rock, there was a Benihana at the bottom of the building, right? And then the elevators, and then our thing. And the Benihana smell would run up the elevator shafts every night, and we would be starving. Because we're just smelling onions and chicken and shrimp and steak. And you're just like, fuck, I'm hungry. Why am I so hungry? I'm eating right now. Why am I hungry? And it made these two Benihana smokestacks. So it smells good, but if you go there, you're like, this is not too delicious. Now, there's a deal I heard about. You can sign up for a package for you and your friends, but you show up first, and they teach you to cook like a Benihana chef, and then you Benihana for your friends.
Interesting. So then you're the chef at your own party, and you get to be
and you get to throw
Mr.
the shrimp
Benihana.
at them, you know.
Do you get to make the heart?
If you're good enough, I guess. I'm sure there's a registered Benihana chef who sits next to you at the same time.
Do you also get to make the swan doggy bag at the end with your leftovers?
Everybody thinks it tastes so good, but it just tastes like soy. They just pound that soy in there.
If you like soy, then yeah makes sense.
So, Chris, how quick are we from announcing that other thing? Are you still worrying about the unmasked people in Montreal?
Oh, those people in Montreal have been contacted again, and they are going to be taken care of. And the other unmasked, I'm waiting on a phone call. Studio is booked, is waiting on a phone call.
Why would anyone write to us in unminutes and say 1 ticket, please? When you got to go to the iBang for the Penn Jillette unmasked. That's August 3rd, 12:30, right here at the SiriusXM studios.
I'm going to that.
And yes, you're going to be working it.
Oh, okay, great. Good. I thought I had to reserve a ticket. I was going to go to the iBang.
You just won't be able to pay attention to it because you're going to have other things to do. We're talking about gross animals, and the guy from Home Alone, Daniel Stern, I believe him to be the new Bill Murray for Americans. Showed himself catching a spider, a giant spider in his garage. And then this is the funniest part. After he turns it over, you can say it. Go ahead and hit that.
Guys, guess what I just got?
No, from the back. Move
Like
it
go
along.
a little bit farther in. A little bit farther. Farther.
Here it goes.
Okay, there you go.
Now watch his face after he sees the spider.
Let's take a peek inside the bucket. Look at
He can still do that screaming
It's
face.
a Home Alone reference.
He's gonna jump at me.
The-
Hey, just like in the movie, huh?
Yes,
I
we
love
got
that.
it. Just like in the movie.
Just like in the movie I was in.
It's like a do-over for you, Daniel Stern, like the other movie you were in.
The scream that was recorded on the on Home Alone, like that scream when the spider is on, it's like it defies sound. Like it's just like no mic could record it. It's just like it just breaks up and sounds like shit.
Any little kid who had that as their movie was set for the way they looked at the world forever.
I was very, very little when that came out. Remember going to the movie theater to watch it and was laughing so hard that I was like, my stomach hurt. I thought I was going to pee. I was like crying. To me, it was like the funniest thing that had ever existed. I was just like, man, I can't wait to go back. I gotta get everyone. Like, I think I went to see it maybe with my grandmother, and I was thinking, can't wait to come back with my parents. Like, they're gonna love this. Like, the slapstick at its finest.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like so brilliant. And then also, like any kid, most kids' movies that kids like have to do with a child being somehow emancipated from adults and doing adult-like things. That's a very common thing is you're like, look, a kid can do it. The kid is going in the haunted house or the kid is gonna, like fight the bad guys or whatever. That's always the most, like, that's what kids' favorite thing to watch. And then it was like that plus ridiculous slapstick comedy.
Well, yeah, and then also didn't like little kids think that he was cute or whatever too.
Yeah.
He was almost like a sex symbol for 5-year-olds. And
he was, yeah.
Every once in a while, an entire country will fall in love with one kid, and he was.
Yeah.
But has there been a kid since then that the entire country fell in love with?
Haley Joel.
Yeah, but you almost felt sorry for Haley Joel.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of that Gary, he was like a kid that had, it was back in the 80s. It was almost like we like kids that almost they get some kind of non-growth defect.
Coleman? Gary Coleman?
Gary Coleman was a kid that, for 2-3 years, the entire nation was in love with. And they used to watch his show only for his entrance. He would come in like an old man walking like he was furious about something, and people went nuts for him. Of course, Shirley Temple had it back in the 30s, some of the Our Gang kids, but it's a rare thing.
I was so obsessed with him, with Macaulay Culkin's character in that movie. I remember my most prized possession, and maybe one of my most favorite toys I've ever had as a kid, is I got the Talk Boy, which he's playing with, which I'm pretty sure was not a toy before. I think like they made it for the movie, and then they ended up like actually making Talk Boys, and I was like, this is a new life for me. I've got a Talk Boy. Everything's going to change. I can record my voice, make it low register or high. It's the greatest invention of all time.
And that would work out great if you needed to get pizza.
Right.
Because your parents went to Paris without you.
A lovely cheese pizza just for me.
That's actually closer than you want to be able to do that in present.
I tried to dive it actually at the end. I was like, I don't want to be associated with that.
No, it was perfect.
The Olsen twins were like the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
From when I was a kid, like all the way till I was like a teenager.
And they're still beloved.
Yeah.
But if you go back and watch that, when they were babies, right? When like they are not talking yet and they're in a high chair, their little faces are so expressive, you can't believe it.
Yeah,
it was crazy, their little faces.
Well, they weren't even auditioning for the show. They were there a mom of 2 kids who were auditioning just was watching them and brought them to the audition, and the casting director noticed how they looked in the waiting room.
Okay, this isn't E-television, and you're way more into the Olsen twins than I'm comfortable
This is
with.
behind the house with fucking Vito.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, I don't think there's been anyone since the Olsen twins, and that's a really good one. And like their brand is still gigantic, you know.
What about Miley? Miley was like kid famous, parlayed into.
Here's the thing: she wasn't on a network show,
right?
So, like the people that we're talking about, they were like mass appeal. Miley definitely was loved by kids, and they used to just call her Hannah Montana, right?
Yeah.
Like I heard the word Hannah Montana for years before I finally saw that kid singing something on, you know, like regular TV, and now she's just. But all those little Disney kids end up to be the most confident adults that you've ever seen in your life. Like that Miley, she don't give 2 fucks. And she puts her shit out there, and everyone's like, this is ridiculous. And then the next day you find out it's gigantic selling. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's the worst song I ever heard. Sold 2 million copies this afternoon. Miley Cyrus does it again. You're like, but I was part of the Pound Miley Cyrus group just minutes ago. We were all laughing. Andy in Chicago.
Hey, buddy. I just wanted to call real quick. You gave me some recommendations from restaurants up in New England. We had an amazing time. I can tell you, in Portland, duck fat, the poutine that I had there has ruined poutine for me. It was so good. Thank you so much.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. A lot of times people will get in touch with me and say that it used to just be New York, and now it's anywhere in the country. I try to put together a nice little menu schedule for it. Listen, I just forgot. I'm calling you back because I found out they're booked. But if you guys are willing to go at 9:30, we can get you a table.
Oh, no, I'll make the call for you. Don't worry. I'll take care of everything.
I've got everything from here.
Thank you, Mr. Bennington.
Here is David, Santa Cruz.
What's going on, Ronnie B?
Hey.
Ronnie B, for a while there, they would always put kids in glasses. I don't know what it was about the glasses, but I remember the kid from Jerry Maguire, the little spiked hair kid. He was pretty popular for a while.
The spiked hair kid from Jerry Maguire.
Human head weighs 8 pounds kid.
And that's all anyone remembers from that. And he was barely in that movie. I mean, that wasn't a movie about him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Because, by the way, your window on this may be 2 years. 2-3 years. And that's why in the old days, they would have those kids just working nonstop. You know, they'd shoot 3-4 movies a year. They don't do that anymore. So before you know it, the kid's a little awkward.
Right.
The kid isn't the kind of kid you find cute. It's the kind of kid you yell at.
Stop being so weird, kid.
When Modern Family first started, Manny was pretty big.
It's true. Manny had a nice run.
Yeah.
And now he's, you know, like, oh, is he still talking about poetry? You know what I mean? Like, when he's talking about the same things that he talked about when he was 9. And everybody thought he was adorable. But then when he got to be 13 doing it, no. Let me go over here to Chris. Chris on line 1. Oh, that's our Chris? Are you on line 1? Oh. Hey, Chris. What's happening?
Hey, I want to be your Chris, Ron.
No, I was just busting his balls because I saw him on the phone.
Yeah, no, some other Chris. But Jerry Maguire, the little blonde-haired kid with the glasses, Jonathan Lipnicki, he's also one of Eastside Dave's favorites. He used to talk about him sexually.
Well, the thing about, who is the kid who grew up to be a movie producer? Oh, it's the kid from A Christmas Story. So that kid is like a big movie producer now. Hey, why don't we break? We'll be right back. This is the Bennington Show. Bennington Show on a Wednesday. We're heading up to Montreal tomorrow. And lovely, lovely time of the year to be in Montreal. Everybody's excited. All the comedians are showing up. It's going to be a blast.
This will be my... Well, actually, I once went to Montreal in summer, but the first time I ever went to Montreal, dead of winter was not the best time.
Not even people who were born and raised in Montreal don't want to be there then.
It was not a good idea. But I was 18 years old, very excited about the prospect that we could go up there and drink legally. So we did a road trip up to Montreal to check out mostly just the bar scene.
Ice Fest. Up on the iBank today, it's our buddy from the Canada comedy station. And I think
Ben Miner.
Yes, Ben Miner, of course. And because I was waiting for him to put up this whole thing, it's under Canadian comedy is booming, just as Sirius XM's Ben Miner. But he's been involved in that scene since Jump Street. So a lot of great comics have come out of Toronto and actually all over Canada. A lot of great comedic actors have come out. But almost immediately they say, I'm an American too.
I'm half.
Yeah.
We're connected by a landmass.
It is ridiculous that we're all just not one country as it is. I mean, I don't know if there's ever like two countries that are leaned up against each other who have as much in common
as Canada and the U.S.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same
Maybe
thing.
you could look at like, I don't know, Ireland and England. They seem as Scotland jumped in. You know what I mean? They're almost like they're our Scotland.
Yeah, they are probably. They're our brothers in the north.
So that'll be a lot of fun. Go read that piece by him. But if you think about like just SCTV came out of there, Jim Carrey came out of there.
Some of the funniest comedians are Canadian. That's very strange.
Well, we were talking about that kid actor, but in that John Candy movie where Uncle Buck, you know what I mean? And Uncle Buck was like the weirdest character of all time because he wasn't even like a modern person. Like he was like a 1950s guy in a 1980s movie.
Yeah, like he dressed very like hipster doofusy, kind of like he had a weird throwback look.
Had the cigar going like, hey, you're not going out with my niece. You know, like who's doing that in 1987? No one cares who their niece is dating except for a creep.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
He's like go down to the school and like intimidate her boyfriend.
I honestly thought that Chris Stanley would be a perfect Uncle Buck if they ever try to make it a web series.
Well, the problem is he doesn't like to be around children.
Yeah.
So that's going to make it really difficult.
See, that was the thing. Neither did Uncle Buck. He didn't know how to. Now, he didn't think that he would be accused of anything the way Chris Stanley does.
I could add that to the character, though. You better not say anything, kid.
What?
The fact that you say you better not say anything makes you the most guilty person in the world.
But Uncle Buck is black now, too.
Oh,
That's racist, dude. We're not even supposed to notice that. Didn't they already cancel that, Uncle Buck?
Yeah, I watched the first few episodes.
How was it?
It was really weird. There was a whole episode that was centered around him treating Girl Scout cookies like a drug trade.
Well, they love to do that with guys now. Like they think it's like a Gaffigan food obsessiveness that they do with male characters. Kevin James always did that as well. Like if you go back and watch King of Queens, you know, he's still trying to hide a sandwich from his wife. Ray Romano was always trying to hide a sandwich for himself.
Yeah, what is this something that I'm not aware of? Are men unable to snack at their will?
Oh no. So you probably don't know this, but women are like bitches and won't let us do what we want to do, and what we want to do is eat sandwiches in the garage with our friends.
You're not supposed to be spending our vacation money.
Look, I don't care if it is a Jets game. We're going to the play. That's the thing. Like they act like any interest that a man has is something to be ashamed of.
And they hide. They are forced to hide their identities.
They lie about who they are.
Their truth. And then in the end, they had to be like, oh, I love you for the big fat doofus that you are.
Yeah. You find out at the end she's able to deal with his faults, but the beginning of every show, she can't possibly.
Right. Then he farts and she's like, oh, I love you.
That should be it. You should be like, you're pitching a show. It's about this fat, farty white guy. He wants to eat sandwiches, but he's married to this beautiful, intelligent, sophisticated woman.
She's just so stunning and stylish and smart.
And when he rolls over on her, she disappears. She's that thin.
But mean as a snake, she is.
Now, she's also going to have a dickhead parents that also hate Fatty Sandwich Eater. That's what they should just call the show, Fatty Sandwich Eater. And like, he treats a 6-pack of beer like it's an exciting thing.
Right.
Not a starter 6.
Come on, I just want to hang out with the boys and drink at least 2 or 3 of these beers.
Yes. Not enough to cop a buzz. But like, they'll all be together somewhere and one guy comes in with a 6 and a fucking pizza. Ready for the poker game, guys? Where's the fucking real beer? Why would you come with a 6-pack?
Fatty Sandwich Eater, you better not be down in your man cave.
Honey, I'm just working on the pipes down here. Keep banging that pipe with me. The little lady thinks that I'm doing work.
And if I'm not in my man cave, I'm in the same booth at the diner I hang out at every day.
I thought the booth was for single people in New York. Single people in New York go out to booze.
Yeah.
Just regular people, they really don't get out of their house if they're married, you know? That's why the fake man cave has to become a garage or the cellar.
Like, that's the bar that you're allowed to go to down in your basement.
But I guess we do have a thing in this country that we don't think people can have an enjoyable life and be funny. You know, their life has to be a fucking hell.
Right.
And they're
well, like, people don't like the punching down thing, so it's just like, everything is going great for me. Your life stinks. It's always a tougher pill to swallow.
But could somebody have a better boss than Mr. Spacely after all these years?
Of Spacely Sprockets?
Yeah, you still have a boss who's like, Jensen, get in here. You're fired if this doesn't happen. You're like, fuck, dude. Just trying to do my job like anybody else.
And So I Married an Axe Murder, when he wants his boss to be like the mean chief of police who yells at him. He makes him like basically play character, like that he say like, I better have that report on my desk. And he's like, was that good? Was that okay? I don't know. I don't want to be mean. So
I don't know. Like, it looks like police chiefs, they demand that if a crime doesn't get solved, somebody's going to be just collecting parking tickets from that point on.
And you know, you're not going to find truth that way. You're going to frame a lot of people.
Yes, that's true.
The motivation.
No one ever says, dude, we're going to need more people on this case. This is not a one-person case where I could do it all by myself. I need help here. Chris, you disappeared. Do we, You're nodding.
We have Josie Fox from Tito's on the line.
That's what I was looking for. Josie Fox, Tito's on tour. Tito's Handmade Vodka on tour all summer long. 16 states, 35 cities, 66 days. I got to tell you the truth. This seems like a dream trip for me. This is the kind of gig that I want in my life.
There's nothing better than an all-American road trip.
Hey, Josie, how's everything going with the tour?
It's going really well. We're in California right now. The tour is in California right now. I'm about to fly out and join them for the last leg.
Now, where exactly are you in California? Where are you going to be running around?
The tour, we're in Sacramento today and tomorrow, and on the 30th, we'll be in Los Gatos, and then we keep going up the 101, and we'll hit the Bay Area by August 1st.
This is what I feel like should be my summer at Tito's.
That's a great drive, too.
Yeah, it's a perfect drive.
It's one of the best. It's probably one of the best drives in the country.
Now, the Tito's on tour, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. And how do you interact with the people, Josie? What all happens?
Well, you know, it depends. Every event, every stop has been different, which is what makes this whole thing so much fun. So we can set up in a park or at a bar. We're going to wrap up in San Francisco at the Soma Street Food Market and set up the Airstream there and be serving cocktails out of the Airstream. We have games and swag and drinks. It's a really good time.
You know, the California food scene has exploded, and people on, I don't think the West Coast understands like how great that straight from the farm California food is. It's amazing.
Also, to get the Mexican food out there, Chinese food out there is great.
Yeah, well, they've got the whole Pacific Rim thing, but the California cuisine, killing it right now. So you guys are having a blast all summer long. You know, we're heading off to Montreal for the Comedy Fest. I know Tito's is always involved with music stuff, but we got to get you guys involved with some comedy shows as well.
Yes, that would be a lot of fun.
I'm going to try, you know, it's too late for me this summer, but next summer I think I want to be on the bus traveling around.
I would love that.
Yeah. Just
we
going.
can talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be great. So Tito's on tour, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka, distilled 6 times from 100% corn, naturally gluten-free. And visit us at titosvodka.com. Stay in touch with us, okay, Josie?
I will. Thank you so much.
I think it's great to hear about you guys out there just lighting it up all summer long, making it fun. Thanks so much, Josie. Bye.
Sure. Have a good one.
Love those Tito's folks.
And they're the best. I want to do like a big summer road trip.
Well, you know, if you follow on Snapchat, Gaffigan's out on the road with his kids. And it's the funniest thing because you know how exhausted it is to being on the road. And then he's doing these big venues every night. But then every day you see him either at a zoo or a water park. I mean, it's all his own fault. No one needs to have this many children as he has. But it looks like he's on tour with a Little League baseball team. Like just trying to keep these children busy and tired until they finally go to sleep at night.
Yeah, it's exhausting having a family band. And that's what he has.
Except for only dad's playing. I know they come out and do that Gaffigan song once a year. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, that
God,
is the
adorable.
cutest damn thing.
That show is just crushing it this year, too.
Man, I wish we should have done a road trip up to Montreal instead of flights.
That would have been fantastic.
Doing stops along the way.
Still not too late, Chris.
Chris, can we do it?
Get us a van.
I go on expense in a van.
And get us, well, you know, you're going to save money on the flights, but get us baseball bats, uniforms. I wanted to make it look like a bingo long traveling roadshow thing.
Got it.
Either that or a nice Doris tour bus, Almost Famous style.
Yeah, where it's almost like they're on a school bus instead of a nice, cool touring rock bus, you know? You just see them sitting on the same seats like it was a class trip. I wonder when that even came together, where someone said, you know what, we could tear out the seats in the bus and turn this into a traveling apartment. It's the Bennington show on a Wednesday. Now, tonight is the DNC, and we've got a guy who's been following all this for us, our own Spencer Berger.
Yeah.
Let's check on him and see how he thinks the speeches went last night. The first night, he picked look how fast he is.
God damn.
You are so damn fast.
It's the Flash, baby.
Well, thank you. You could say that because I used to run the track team in high school.
I had no idea this. What event?
I used to do sprinting. I would do the 55, 100, 200, and the 400, 4x2, and 4x100 relays.
Wow. So you stayed busy.
Yep.
How were you? Were you a star? Were you a track star?
I wasn't necessarily a star, but like senior year, I got better.
Now, Olympics, is that a big deal for you? That's coming up soon.
Oh, I am so not going to be an Olympic athlete.
Yeah,
it's very competitive.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete, but will you be watching?
Yes, I would be.
If you went there, I'd give you paid time off from work. But you would have to wear a Bennington shirt instead of the USA
I'd be
shirt.
honest to do that, yes.
Now, they said, I saw the other day, the Olympic Village is uninhabitable. They said they're just, humans can't live there. This is, the Olympics is a terrible thing in the way that they go to poor countries, force them to spend money, and then they leave these things and they never get used again.
Yeah, and they just stay vacant, and it's just like run down, and it's really sad.
Well, Brazil has been, just put together the World Cup just 2 years ago. So now they have to turn around and spend money on the Olympics, and it's not working off. Did you watch the DNC last night?
I watched part of it though, but
only part.
Yeah.
What did you see?
I watched up to Lena Dunham.
Oh, how do you think she did?
I think she did really phenomenal.
Yeah.
My mom was actually at the convention because Lena Dunham, I don't know if I told you, is one of my mom's clients.
I had no idea.
Wow.
So she had to go up there. So yeah, it's a big honor. It's a big thing for her to go there.
Well, she was there. Did your mom stay all night? Because it was historic.
No, she went for the day.
Historic night last night.
Yeah.
That we, after all these years, and I think we're at 240 as a country, and this is the first time nominated a woman as president. So it doesn't right now take it out of the politics out of the whole thing. Just the fact that a woman has been nominated in 240 years. And let's hope that Lena Dunham will be the next president of the United States. Lena Dunham is running, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Who is it?
VP.
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, well, Hillary Clinton.
She's taking Lena as her VP, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that, but hey, Hillary shall be the next Democratic nominee for president.
Yes. Now, and you didn't watch Bill Clinton speak last night.
I didn't really get up to that part now.
I understand.
Yeah.
Now, do you even remember when Bill Clinton was the president? Are you old enough for that?
I think I might have been maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that much about it, though.
So the first president you remember, George Bush.
George Bush, yes, that is correct.
And you loved him?
He was actually pretty good, though. I mean, I was still learning about, differences between Democratic and Republicans.
And,
liberals and conservatives.
It does take a while. It does take it throughout most of your elementary school.
But I obviously, when 9/11 happened, I was 5 years old.
Can you remember 9/11?
I was in kindergarten, and I don't remember anything what happened though. But
it was amazing to me.
My mom was greeting me off the bus, and she was actually a mess because of what happened in the city. Because she was supposed to go in for when she had this meeting with Barbara Walters, and as she was on the LAE. Barbara called her and said that all the bridges and tunnels are closed, turn around and go home. And my dad was actually at the hospital at a doctor's conference and the TV was on. So he called my mom and told her not to go into the city and go home.
Man, it's amazing that Barbara Walters would have even thought to call anybody that day, too.
Yeah.
As well as getting through. That day was almost an impossible day.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
It was
reach anybody on cell phone.
Unbelievable, yeah. They didn't want me to see it because, even as a young kid, it's scary for young kids like me to watch.
Well, even now with the news, if
even
a bad,
still,
when a bad news story comes up, it's rough for you.
Exactly.
And yesterday when you found out that Coach had her pet bunny eaten,
that was not your favorite story you've ever heard.
I was okay with it.
Oh, okay, good. All right, because I remember you telling her to stop telling the story. All right. So you're like a political junkie, but you wanted to go to bed early last night. You didn't want to sit and watch the Bill Clinton. Did you watch it, Chris?
Yeah, I saw Bill, yeah.
What did you think?
I liked him. I liked what he said, but he did sound a lot older. I didn't expect him to sound so much older.
Someone, my friend said this to me last night. I don't want to say who it is because he doesn't want to live a public life. But he said, you could put Bill Clinton next to Dick Van Dyke right now, and I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. And it's true. But people were like, it's very funny that you can always see someone age in someone else. No one who remembers him in 1992 looks like themselves like they did in 1992.
Right. They're like, why doesn't he look the same? But it's like even...
By the way, there's Roland walking by, shorts.
Pair of shorts. Like you could be wearing.
Every day he's wearing shorts.
Damn it, I want you to be comfortable.
I don't even want to do basketball shorts. I would do cargo or not cargo.
You can do it.
Khaki shorts, No
one's stopping you.
Do it. Next hot day.
I don't want to fall into shorts gang.
What do you mean, shorts gang?
I don't want to be with all the shorts people.
Then why are you complaining about it?
I just get hot sometimes.
But here's the deal. Either wear long pants or wear shorts. This is nothing to discuss. This doesn't have to be anything for you to wrestle with.
I guarantee no one here would notice. Certainly in this studio.
No, not at all. I wouldn't even know if you came in your undershorts.
I'd call him out if I saw him.
The guy who shot Ronald Reagan is going to be set free after 35 years. Kind of an unconditional, doesn't have to check in. He was the guy who stalked Jodie Foster, used to write her crazy stuff. And then to impress her, he went and shot Ronald Reagan. And here's the strange thing. She wasn't even slightly impressed.
Yeah.
A, he was in love with a lesbian. B, shooting a president doesn't impress girls.
No, you think it might, but it's actually, most girls kind of find it to be a turnoff. It's kind of weird, but
right, good
it's
to know.
like, just like a little tip, a little dating tip. And I'll give you tips from time to time when I think of them. But I don't think you're going to get over with your crush.
It's weird that he's been free. About the same time, the guy who shot John Lennon, so it was Hinckley and Chapman were like the two most hated people at the time.
I thought they died.
No.
Both of them.
Oh, no, who?
Both shooters.
No. They're both very much alive.
Oh.
Chapman has been in a mental institution, I believe, in upstate New York. I don't think he's in prison. I could be wrong. But I remember when it came out where he was trying to get out once, and he goes, if John Lennon was alive, he'd want me to be free. And then somebody on the news said, how ironic, the one guy who would want you free, and you killed him. Yeah, kind of an irony. I can't remember who had that line, but it was great. But it's funny that the guy who shot Reagan got out before the guy who shot Lennon. Now, I guess that's based on the fact that Lennon died, but Hinckley meant to kill him.
Yes,
you know
it
what
was
I mean?
an assassination attempt.
Right.
A failed attempt.
So the reason why we're going to let you out is that we know that you are such a bad shot. That's it.
Lucky for you, you stink.
Yeah, you're really bad at this. Because if you were good, you'd still be in there. Dave in Virginia knows a little bit about John Hinckley. Dave.
Yeah, I've got John Hinckley. His parents live in my parents' neighborhood in Williamsburg, Virginia. And every time he would get released, he'd come home for the weekend or for a couple of days. You'd see him walking around with his folks. A handful of years ago, you'd see Secret Service behind him, a little ways away. But as of more recently, it's gotten closer and closer. Now he's walking around. I see his dad. I used to work at the country club up there, and his dad used to work out. You'd look out, and he's like, Mr. Hinckley, hey, that's weird. And it's a crazy story.
Wait, you called the guy who shot him Mr. Hinckley? You're the guy who shot Reagan?
Very polite.
I call his dad.
Okay, his dad.
Please, Mr. Hinckley was my father.
I see his dad all the time, and then you see...
Just call me Bang Bang.
No, I just kind of... You see John Hinckley walking around, and you just kind of drive by, and you make a mental note, and you move on.
Yeah, I guess so. But that is certainly weird. So now I think he is released without any conditions, before, and I remember it was even when I lived down in that area, they would let him go back and forth, and there was actually even stuff of him, there was a picture in the paper of him sitting on a bench, nobody's watching over him, not far from the White House.
Oh, weird.
Just like...
That's very weird.
I don't know when you could get around to saying somebody isn't a threat anymore. But it's weird that the guy who shot where we go with the president, you would think there's nothing that would affect us more.
Yeah.
Of somebody that we weren't going to show mercy on. If you shot the president or a Beatle.
Yeah. Those should at least be very close, if not neck and neck on importance.
So when people sit around today and they act like, oh, life hasn't even been worse, they're in about a 1 year period, Lenin was killed, Reagan was shot, and then the Pope was shot. All in the early 80s. And, if you go from the party stuff now, it's like,
right.
Oh, the 80s must have been so fun. There wasn't all the danger.
And then before that, from Kennedy to Martin Luther King to... Bobby Kennedy, in that order?
Well, you had John Kennedy was killed in the 60s, in the early 60s. 68 was Kennedy, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King. all killed. But I was talking about the 80s themselves when people act like it was a carefree time. You had those assassinations. You had crack, which nobody had seen before, and it got everything crazy. And you had AIDS.
Yeah.
Yet, if you look at people having these parties, like the 80s were great. There was MTV. You're like, yeah, but there was also a lot of other scary
Everyone dressed in layers. It was fun. Bangles.
Here's Hammond. Hammond, what's up?
Hey, it's Hammond Ager.
What's up?
I'm not sure Hinckley's ready to be released because I just heard he vowed to finish the job when he gets out.
Well, a little late for that. And, with all the problems that Reagan had, a lot of people believe that was because of the shooting. Because he was an older guy when he got shot, that takes a lot out of you.
You're not going to have that kind of recovery. You don't have the body to bounce back from something like that.
Right. So almost there's things that happen, like if somebody shoots somebody and they eventually die of 10 years later to complications, they could then be tried for murder because you could say, okay, this is a murder now.
Yeah.
I don't know, at a certain point, I think you've got to stop the trial. But then again, I don't know. At a certain point, enough with this guy. All right, it's the Bennington Show on a Wednesday. Tonight, speaking, and I don't know whether you're going to be watching, Spencer, but Joe Biden.
And Obama will be speaking.
And Obama.
Oh, I am definitely watching that.
Just for Biden?
No, for Obama.
Okay, I say.
Where do you stand on Biden?
I can't really say, though. But overall, but he's been a good vice president, though. And I understand he's going through a difficult time.
Yeah.
For both of his sons, and it's been hard for him. But you know what? He's got good confidence.
You're a big Obama guy. Scale of 1 to 100, right?
Yeah.
100 being the top, 0 being the lowest. What number grade do you give to Barack Obama?
Oh, I give him a big fat 100.
Wow, 100.
100.
No mistakes at all.
That's amazing.
Vito, what do you give him?
I'm going to give him 88.
88? You're bringing his average down.
Leaves him at what?
I know, but I hate when somebody just drops the average of any average, no matter what it is. I saw this since legalized weed, right? What do you think the average person spends a year on legalized weed?
Okay, so I would say 200.
200. Chris Stanley, marijuana purchases per year. What would they be?
I'd say $1,500, $2,000 over the course of a year.
I would agree much more.
Really?
Chris there, yeah.
I feel like that's even low.
If a person smokes weed every day, it's a very expensive habit to have.
But do you think that people who smoke weed, the legalized crowd, are they smoke weed every day kind of people?
Why wouldn't they?
Right.
I mean, why else would you want weed to be legal, then you use it 2 or 3 times a year?
That's what the song says. Smoke weed every day.
Okay, so there's already a song about it. What do you think?
I'm going to say $5,000 because I think the taxes also go into make that number higher.
First of all, $5,000 is a ridiculous price.
Smoking a pound and a half a year, Ron.
Now, this is what they said the average is. Now, of course, that takes the Chris Stanley people into the people that you would think of. It's $600 a year.
Crazy.
And at that point, you're not really even interested in marijuana.
No.
$600 a year.
I guess I'll smoke a joint sometimes if it's around.
The taxes on cigarettes in Canada, and I believe because they have Cubans, the taxes are so strong, 120% tax rate up on it.
Is that serious?
Yes, 120.
That's too expensive.
You're
gonna have to.
This might be a little bit of a stupid question, but just to be sure, in Mexico and Bahamas and all of South America, is marijuana legal in pretty much all those countries?
No, I don't think marijuana is legal on any of those countries, but you can buy other drugs over the counter. Like you can get painkillers and codeine over the counter. But is marijuana not legal in Mexico? Is it, Chris?
I don't believe that it is.
I don't think it's actually legal. It's still illegal.
And I know in none of the islands, I mean, people don't bother you, but you could be arrested for it.
It could be like a case of being decriminalized.
Surprisingly, it is legal in Colorado, though.
It is legal in Colorado.
And I think they're legalizing it in Vermont as well. That's what I heard.
And California, not completely legal, but also...
And I think New York, they're thinking about it.
I still don't know where California landed because of the difference between the state and federal. Like, what is the actual law at this point?
It's like a really ugly war, too.
What do you mean ugly war?
Well, like between the federal government and like the everything going on over there, they like people who have like legal running shops get shut down all the time and arrested by the federal government.
You know why, right?
Because it's technically not.
They're not paying taxes. So
they're not paying federal taxes.
Yeah, you can't. There is no place to pay federal taxes, and yet you can't run a business without paying federal taxes. So even in Colorado, those people that have those legal weed places can't use a bank. They're not using the banks at all. So you see that they're leaving with these money and their own kind of
security.
Their security looks closer to the kind of security people that were in Iraq. It's a weird deal all the way around. All right, here's Eric. Eric, you're on Bennington Show.
Hey, Ronnie. $600 a year, 12 months in a year, 50 times 12 is 600. So $50 eighth is about what street value for real good weed is, and at the dispensaries for legal weed, it's about $50. So that wouldn't cover me, probably wouldn't have covered Chris Stanley in his day, but I think it's somewhat reasonable for casual weed smokers. I get a quarter for my brother. Yeah, I mean, my brother's very casual, and he has me get him a quarter, and it lasts him like 4 or 5 months. So an eighth a month is, you can get by with that if you're smoking 2-3 days a week.
Yeah, I can't imagine thinking that an eighth. I mean, when I was in high school and I got a nickel bag, it was gone in 2 days. And I don't even like marijuana. But you got it, you're going to smoke it. Yeah. It's like those people who have bottles of liquor that just sit in the behind their bar.
That's
like,
just
what are we
doing
here?
I was at a party out in the Hamptons for my after prom, and people I know smoke it there. I was thinking of trying it, and I put it to my mouth, and I said, what? Nah, I don't think I'm doing it.
You decided not to.
Yeah. I mean,
but you got all the way up to your mouth.
Yeah, I didn't inhale though.
Were they all going like?
Oh, Clinton.
Like Bill Clinton. That's what he was famous for.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah, he said he didn't inhale.
He said he smoked it, but he didn't really do it because he didn't inhale.
But I mean, I'm thinking of maybe trying it once in a while. I don't know. I probably shouldn't do it.
Well, were your friends going Spencer?
No,
like that?
No. We just took like hits, like we passed it around though.
Right.
Like they weren't like that. It's not like when we're in frats and they cheer you. That's like that's pretty much for drinking. No, that's different.
But no one was like this. Hey man, try this. It'll make you fly.
Yeah, no, because sometimes sometimes here's the thing: these drugs can be laced with other things, so you got to be very careful.
Smart.
That's why I didn't do
true.
it. So you have to trust somebody who gives you whatever there is, because knock on wood, it could be laced with other types of drugs that could sort of kill you or put you in critical condition.
K2.
That's why you don't want to get.
Yeah, they could also lace it with ecstasy, Molly, or anything. Or actually, you got to be careful with other drugs,
right?
Because Molly, there was an incident, I think at Wesleyan, and what happened was, it kind of got out of control, and some kids got very sick and had to go to the hospital. So you got to be careful not to leave your drink at a bar unattended, because someone could sort of put something in there. There's no taste, no odor, nothing.
But what about when people go like this? Hey, have you seen my friend Molly around here? I wanted to meet Molly.
Or Sid. You seen Sid?
Yeah, you see my friend Sid? I'm supposed to go on a trip with Sid.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, get it?
Yeah, I get it, but that probably wouldn't happen like that.
That's the code words that we use.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to learn all that stuff.
Well, it makes, for me, the only reason I like it makes jazz music sound a lot better,
Like going on an adventure?
Yeah, going on an adventure. A little trip.
Going on a little trip.
Yeah. And then my brain didn't come back with me.
Yeah, that's...
That's what you got to worry about.
Yeah, and also mushrooms is like a big trippy drug.
Oh, I had it with steak just the other night.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Like sauteed mushrooms?
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm like, is this cool? You know?
Where'd you score those mushrooms?
Dude. But yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Mushrooms. Is it a mushroom or is it a drug? Which is it?
You gotta pick.
Yeah. I just wanted to.
Do I put this on a salad?
Yeah. Well, you're going to ruin a salad with mushrooms anyway.
On a cob?
Yeah. On a nice cob.
Still placed on a cob.
Oh, you hate mushroom. That's right.
Don't like mushrooms. Specifically portobello mushrooms.
I like regular sauteed mushrooms.
Yeah, but aren't you ever worried that they're like the drug mushroom?
What if they
no,
are?
I'm not worried. I mean, how could we tell a difference?
There's a good point. Like if you cook even the psilocybins, you can't trip off them, right?
I'm not sure. I've never tried.
I think you can cook if you cook psychedelic mushrooms.
I don't think so. I think
it kills the psychedelic effect.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I've never heard of someone who goes out to, Delmonico's.
What do psychedelic mushrooms taste like?
Literally like cow shit, because they're right out of
Shitty
the cow shit.
and corn
Is that really where it
because of
comes
that
out of?
too.
Yeah.
Because
I thought. Wait, so psychedelic mushrooms actually come out of cows? Is that true?
Well, no. Out of the shit. They grow out of the shit. When you're down even near a mushroom house, I mean, the smell is unbelievable.
Okay, then yeah.
All right, what do we got for an answer here?
These are some like dishes that you can make mushrooms with. So we got quinoa and the magic mushrooms, as you guys would like to say.
Yeah, the magic mushrooms.
But even when you cook them, you can still trip off of them, is what I'm saying.
That's very strange.
Yeah, it says you deserve to be elevated with these delicious dishes.
Yeah, because my friends, in college, they said, I remember them saying, you can trip off mushrooms. Even when cooked, yeah.
Interesting.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you this, Spencer. Those aren't your friends.
Yeah.
Stay away from those kind of kids.
I'd like someone to cook me up a magic omelet.
See?
I mean, it actually wasn't from my friends. I mean, they were just from people that I've seen around talk about them. Yeah.
All right, a lot of people are really complaining about that. Somebody saying that they could make an eighth last a month. But these are the people that ruin the averages. That's why I hate for people just dropping so far off that the average is just terrible.
But vaping makes you conserve weed too, because so many people vape now that weed lasts longer when you put it into any sort of vaporizer. You get more hits out of it.
All right, by the way, Cam said this: Spencer Berger is actually the anti-Chris Stanley, responsible, nice, and just says no.
That's so true.
Never said no.
You're a nice person and you're responsible. And you take care of business, and you put that weed up to your mouth and say, I'm not going to smoke it. Chris has lived his life in the exact opposite way.
Oh.
And then you found out your life was ruined, and now you're white-knuckling. You quit everything, right?
I've quit everything, yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Way to stay sober.
That's great.
That's
Thank
so
you,
nice
Spencer
that he
Berger.
supports you.
Did they throw a party for you to celebrate your soberness?
Yeah, then he got drunk.
Yeah, I got it broke, and then I started drinking heavily again.
But
Spencer.
you're right. I feel like Spencer and Chris have a Goofus and Gallant kind of thing going on.
Yeah, Chris to me looks like he's very responsible. You know what? I trust him. I trust that guy.
All right, the Goofus and Gallant we could do like this. Spencer is a nice person. Chris is a creep.
What?
It's true, though. It's true.
Is that going to be the new saying? What?
I like it.
Oh.
Do you ever do it anymore?
Depends. I mean, yeah, it all depends what kind of topic comes up.
Okay. But something that you like.
It all depends, yeah.
Give the I like it. Now, you're going to Yukon this year, right?
That is correct.
That's not a big drug school, right? That's not a big party school.
There are some parties there I've heard of. But at this other school that I went to, they're very strict about it.
Good.
Yeah, Yukon, I think, is going to be different. It's people. I've heard people say that there are parties that go on there too, but it all depends.
Chris was thrown out of his school for what was the reason, Chris?
All right, for
Goofus. What was the reason?
I was accused of selling magical mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms.
Where are
Magical?
Yes, I was accused of it.
Magical instead of magic.
At which school?
SUNY Purchase.
Oh, that's a good school.
And he was always like this, but someone like to SUNY purchase some mushrooms.
Trip face, bro.
Oh, look who it is. There's Dan, who said no one can wear shorts.
Dad.
Dan, come on in and have a seat.
Hey, Mr. Dan, man.
Come join the crew.
Dan, I believe you know Spencer, right?
We've met, yes.
Now, Dan, earlier today, your name got brought up almost as a schoolroom bully. This is what happened. Vito said that he wore shorts to work, and you told him, dude, that doesn't fly around here.
No.
Never happened.
You're a liar. I came in wearing shorts, and I was like, oh, shit. I didn't know. I noticed.
Oh, no. Sorry. I wasn't saying no that it didn't happen. I was saying shorts don't fly here, Vito.
What are you freaking out about?
Because
I know exactly what
he
you're
then
talking
hit his legs under his desk for the rest of the day, and I'm not exaggerating.
I put my legs all the way under, and I asked Dan if he could get me a water so nobody would see me walking around the hallways.
Next time, I want you to put your legs under a giant rock. Now, why did you tell him that the shorts thing doesn't fly?
I've been told that
By
you're
who?
not permitted to wear shorts at SiriusXM.
By who?
God, I don't remember. Maybe it never happened.
By God?
By God, yes, Spencer Berger.
Do you believe in God?
I do. I do.
What is your God, by the way?
The Jew one.
So you believe in the Old Testament, the God of the Old Testament.
Is that
I don't know,
still a
shit.
fiery vengeful
Dude, I
God?
haven't like thought about it since the bar mitzvah, but
Oh, you're Jewish, dude?
yeah.
Me too.
High five.
Oh, man.
Do you guys always do that? You always high five when you...
Never. First time.
We always greet each other.
Now
do
they're
you
going to
really?
start doing
I
it.
say hello to Spencer Berger every time I see him.
All right, but let's get back to the God thing.
Sorry.
And the short thing. So God came to you in a dream, said no one should wear shorts.
To SiriusXM, yes.
Yeah. Now, you work right next to Roland. He wears shorts every day.
But I've been told that Roland is, he's allowed. The rest of us are not as awesome as Roland. Like Vito's certainly not.
I don't think that this rule exists at all. Do you, Chris?
This sounds like malarkey and made up by
Okay,
Dan.
malarkey. You went there already.
Cool Disco Dan's full of shit.
I feel like
Where
if
does
it's
disco thing come from?
I feel like if it's not in the employee manual, then it's not an official rule.
They tell interns on their first day, you need to dress professional every day. Like, as an intern, you're told you have to wear, a collared shirt.
Is that what they told you?
Yeah, that's what I did. I dressed really professionally. This is my first time, in the real world, working in the city, and, I took it seriously.
Well,
that's good.
Can I tell you something? You're acing it. Not everybody comes in with your enthusiasm.
Oh.
Like even when you were called in. You ran here like Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose. Because Pete Rose said, I run the first base on a walk because I can't wait to get
What
to
about like Louis Samperini or Bruce Jenner? Was I as fast as them?
Well,
it's not. I don't know if you heard. It's not. I mean, Ron, you want to tell him or should I?
But here's the thing about Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner won the medal, not Caitlyn Jenner. When we're talking about the Olympians, it's Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
I had Bruce Jenner on the show one time.
Oh.
All we talked about was the Olympics.
Oh, when did you have him?
It was a couple years ago. It was before he
was Caitlyn?
Yeah, before he transitioned.
Oh my goodness. This is wow.
Yeah. This isn't some nickel and dime show.
No, I understand, dude. Yeah, it's you're expanding. It's going to be good for you guys. And
thank you.
Really, you're pushing it out, and it's great.
All right, I needed that pep talk because I'm having a kind of a rough day today, so I like that pep talk. All right, so all this came from shorts. You were telling people not to wear shorts based on something you heard from someone that you don't even know.
Yes. But I know it's true. So
Look, here's the thing that I'm going to say. Whether it's true or not true, that kind of seems like hall monitor behavior.
I know, it's not a hip business.
Hey, no, I'm a cool guy. I'm a cool guy around here.
You're just the opposite.
Are you kidding me?
Now, let me ask you about Disco Dan. If he told you to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, would you do it?
I mean, if it was a rule, yeah.
If he said you have to you're going to be dead.
If you wear shorts to work, you jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, Vito.
Why'd you tell me I couldn't wear fucking shorts to work?
Why are you angry with everyone?
Because I could have wore shorts these past 6 months.
No.
I actually tried to wear shorts.
I could have worn shorts all summer. Nicer shorts. It's always hot under the subway.
Oh, God, don't get under the subway.
Well, that's the fastest way I can get to work.
Yeah. Where do you take the subway to? 34th Street?
Yeah, I get on it. What I do is I take the railroad from Manhasset to Penn Station, walk a block next to Macy's, and what I usually do is look up at the Empire State Building, which is really nice.
That is
and then I get on at Herald Square, take either the B, D, F, or the M, and then get out here Rockefeller Center.
It sounds like a nice commute, doesn't
I know,
it?
but I also like the idea that he takes the time to realize there's the Empire State Building. I'm in New York. I'm in
Yeah,
Money
you know,
Making
you've seen a
Manhattan.
lot of different movies, and you know it's knowing a lot. And I feel great to live close to a city like this.
I got news for you. I agree with you. I love to love New York, and some people act like this city, and I go, I get it.
When do you think you lose that? How long after you live here do you not care anymore?
For me, I try never to lose it. Every single day, I try to remember. You, I'd imagine you lost it day 2. You know why?
Well, I had to get the cable installed day 1, and then once that was up,
Yeah, but here's the thing about you. You lie about shorts. You lie about everything. You smoke a lot of marijuana, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think you spend in 1 year on marijuana? Give me a ballpark figure.
Okay, so there's 52 weeks in a year.
Yes, I didn't ask how many weeks are in a year.
That's the end of my answer. No.
Trying to do some mathematical calculations.
Spencer Berger, have you tried marijuana?
All right.
We already went there.
Sorry.
Just answer the question.
Thousands, Ron.
Thousands. How many thousands? 100?
Not that many thousands.
Like one singular thousand?
Maybe I don't, that's hard to say, because it varies.
I got news for you. If I smoked marijuana with you, you'd probably end up being a stabbing victim.
But did marijuana make you violent?
Oh, yeah. You know what else makes me violent? Somebody coming in here spreading shorts lies.
Ron, I'm just enforcing the business casual rules that SiriusXM tries to put forth.
I have never heard that from anyone.
It's in the... Check your offer letter from many, many years ago, and I think it's in there.
I don't go through offer letters. That's my agent's business, not mine. I'm not going to sit around with an offer letter. I'm also going to let people tell me how long my fucking pant leg can be. I mean, I think...
Somebody's going around with a ruler.
If a woman can wear a skirt, then a man can wear a skirt. It's that simple. Those skirts are the same as shorts, in my opinion.
Same length.
Yeah.
But does Ron Bennington make the dress code rules?
For myself?
Well, for yourself?
Yeah.
You don't let anyone tell you what to wear.
Why would I've never, this isn't parochial school. When I'm a little kid, they could tell you what to wear.
This is also...
We're adults now.
This is also the kind of job where you feel like you should be able to wear what you want to wear.
Yeah.
I wore a tie my first 2 days at SiriusXM.
But here's the deal.
I feel like I met
and I have
you.
pictures of both of them on each side of my ID.
Imagine...
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, you had to wear a tie, but why'd you have to comb your hair like that?
I think it was hot that day. It was August.
You look like you're in a new movie called Dork Patrol. This is not Disco Dan.
I once caught Dan in the bathroom. I was using a stall next to him.
God.
And I knew it was him because his ID was hanging underneath the stall. I took a picture of it.
You took a picture of it?
Chris, since you told me that, I literally put my ID away every time.
Chris,
Why?
I'm sure
Because I don't want to be, photographed,
Why are you peeing sitting down, though?
Because it's so easy,
First of all, talking about inappropriate, this goes way further than who's wearing shorts.
You have
the fact that you're
photographed-
bringing up his bathroom habits
And
is
he
horrific.
photographed.
Yeah. I'm going straight to HR.
He's just like that that Playboy playmate.
Do you think Chris peeks through this thing in the stall?
Oh, definitely.
Charlie, what's up, buddy?
Ronnie B, I can't believe you got Gurian's kid as an intern. Ron, I like to go down to 40th Street and kid over to the 2nd Avenue.
This is an anti-Semitic thing that takes place.
Yeah.
You've just, two people who are Jewish, you point out their accent, and that's anti-Semitic.
I agree.
And I'm saying that
It's 2016.
Is it really? God damn this phone. Why do I have 97 on my phone?
I was at a doctor's appointment the other day, and I wrote down, I've never done this in my life, I wrote down that it was 2017. I've never jumped in the future. Normally you write the year before, like a couple months into, after the new year. I've never think, I'm ready for 2017.
Isn't it their job to fill out the rest of that? Why should I write the date?
And 90% of it is stuff we already went over on the phone.
Right.
I gave my address. I gave my insurance. I gave my employer.
I despise all
Why
that.
do I write it again on a paper?
I hate that you're going to sign something and hand somebody your license. You're like, just take it right off there. That should be something you do.
Also, if I'm sitting here, it means I'm not well. I don't want to be sitting here filling out paperwork.
When I'm done filling this out, should I file it for you? because I'm doing all your work. By the way, I would love if we could put together a show called My Kid Talks Like Gurian.
That sounds great. I would watch it.
I'm going to ask you, Disco Dan. Do you hate it when somebody uses the Jewish stereotypes like that? Or do you
Honestly, I don't
embrace it.
I don't hate it because I don't see myself like first and foremost as like a Jew necessarily. I'm not extremely religious
So that gives everyone else the right.
No. But you know, when I do hear people say stuff like that,
Stop screaming.
Sorry.
We're having a nice conversation.
Just
you turned it into
match
a weird
the volume
rant
of everyone
because-
else in the room,
Yeah,
except for Chris.
Gail tried to be in the conversation with you, and you just screamed her down.
Sorry, Gail, go ahead.
No, we want
No,
you to
it's
say
done.
it.
I want you to
but
say
you,
it.
you're,
No, it's just
you're called. I think it's called. Isn't it social Jewish or?
Yeah, that's
Is that the
social
term that they-
social Jewish.
Yeah.
No, culturally, I think they
Culturally
say.
Jewish.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just kind of like pretty easy, you know. So it's like not even worth saying.
But you and Chris are wearing the same shirt today. Does that disturb anybody?
That I want to make fun of.
I called him earlier today to see what he was doing.
You got the purple one. I got the purple one.
Is this one of your high days, Stan?
No,
Why do you get fucked up instead of coming?
it's one of my low days.
Spencer, let's see your picture too. Let's see your. Spencer wears his badge like I do, right on the.
Yep.
Right up front.
Wow, that's a great picture. That's a really good picture.
I've never taken a picture that good in my life. It annoys me. Oh, so
Oh,
you
I
just
guess-
get the one? Is there a difference? Is it a different color? It doesn't let you in all the doors?
I'm sorry?
I think
Yeah.
that's to denote that you're an intern, right? They
Yeah.
make it orange or something, or
With,
red.
with mine, right? I take it like this in the elevator and it's nonstop all the way down.
Yep. He has a special pass.
Yeah. This thing right here?
Yeah, that's for the door to get in here.
Yeah, but this also get you in any door in the city.
Oh, really?
That's how long I've been here. It's serious.
Oh, my goodness.
I can go right to 30 Rock right now.
Even in every building?
Yeah. It's kind of a way of like a key to the city.
That I don't believe that. Are you?
I am called one of New York's beloveds.
Oh, my goodness me.
Now,
does it work for all IDs or
no? You've got to be here a while.
They
But
call you. They actually call you New York's favorite adopted son.
Oh,
that's nice. No, I did yesterday. We left at like 5:00, which is normally the worst time to leave here because everybody's off at work and the other things. And the people that are on the elevator go, "How many times do you think we're going to stop?" And we did a nonstop. I go, "I just used my thing." And they're like this, "How did you get that?" I go, "Scott gave it to me. He didn't give you one?" And they're like, "No." I go, "Really? Seems like you've been here a while." You just hit like that, you're straight to the bottom. And they were immediately pissed.
Oh, Scott did.
How do I get one of those?
Weird.
Here's another weird one. So I'm on a packed elevator the other day. So you know how I always hold the door, let people, I'm trying to let the ladies walk off, but then a lot of dudes will go too. So it's like I'm on a clown car. It's just one after another. 10 minutes into all these people leaving the elevator, I see Coach. I go, "Coach, I didn't even know you were in here." She was all the way in the back. She was so tiny. I didn't even know it.
She took the same subway I did, but I missed her.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
She's like a little spy, that Coach.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like a little Argentinian spy. All right, we got a break here. Oh, who do we got coming in?
We have Emily Tarver coming in.
Nice.
We'll be right back with the very, very funny Emily Tarver. She's going to be in the new season of Orange is the New Black, which is streaming now on Netflix. At Emily Tarver on Twitter. Right back, Bennington.
Bennington is back, and we've got Emily Tarver in studio with us. Emily is on the new season of Orange is the New Black, which is streaming now on Netflix. And you can follow her on Twitter at Emily Tarver.
Great to see you again.
Thank you. It's very good to see
It's
you.
been a long time, and we've been trying to get you in here for a while.
Yeah. I'm glad that it worked out schedule-wise quick.
Because you are, things pop for you.
Things are popping.
Yeah.
I may or may not be filming season 5. I don't know.
You don't know at
We
this
just
point.
don't. I mean, I do know, but I don't
Right.
know. I can't say.
You can't say, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you get raped?
I've been crossing my fingers about that for a while, and it could happen.
Yeah.
I lay my head on my pillow every night, and I think about that.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to get that script.
Does Is Pete excited for you? Does he think that this is the coolest, or?
Yeah, I think he might be trying to downplay it a little bit because he hasn't. How do you say this? Hasn't watched it.
Right.
He hasn't finished the season. It's been out for a month now or so.
Everyone says that, comedians are so supportive of each other, but I don't even think it's true in relationships. You know what I mean? Like, I think a comedian will go, well, why did that comedian get it and I didn't?
Yeah. I think a lot. I think with Pete, he is very supportive, but with other comedians, definitely in that world, other females, I see people like, oh, I auditioned for that. Congratulations, though. And I'm like, well, sorry. I guess I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you get to do a lot of stuff. You get a lot to do of outside of stand-up stuff.
Yeah.
That's rare.
I'm getting back into it. I kind of walked away from live performing for a while because I think I don't know. I got like a weird block. I remember I like a mental block. I was a gymnast when I was younger, and I remember getting like a mental block, and I couldn't do a back handspring on the beam for like a year, like an idiot. And then that kind of same thing happened to me with stand up, where I was just like so anxious all day before getting up. But I love doing like improvised.
Was it
kind
the
of talk shows,
crowd,
stuff
or
like that.
what element of it was bugging you?
I do this thing where I'm either like, I'm doing my material and I'm sticking to kind of the script in my head, and I hate when I do that. I hate when I do that, and I don't really know when I'm going to do that or not. But when I get up there and I'm a little bit looser and I'm just like kind of working out a bit in my head on stage actively, I feel that's when I feel so good about it. But it's hard for me to dial that in when I'm going to do that or not.
When it's no, you care about it. But my favorite thing a comedian does is when they go on an automatic pilot and you see that they're doing a bit for the 1,000th time, you're going like this. You ever notice when you go to a grocery store that they'll be, you just see that they have zero interest in it? It's my favorite.
Yeah, really phoning it in. And I know when I'm on stage and I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I hate it, and I just want it to be over so fast. So I know that the thing to do is to just keep doing it and getting up there but I don't know. I'd rather just not.
Yeah. Look, with gymnastics, I have the same mental block. I cannot do it.
You haven't done a cartwheel in weeks.
Yeah. It just won't go. Now, have you checked out this year's Olympic team for gymnastics?
I have. I watched one of the competitions like a month ago, one of the championships where, I can't remember her name. The best one.
They're all
the one that's 5 years old and
they're all little
2 feet tall.
Freaks of nature.
Yeah.
And that the one that you're talking about that is so tiny, and you just see her do
Biles? Simone Biles?
Is that it? Look it up for me, Vito. They do the craziest thing, and then you just see them just walk over to their coach like, I don't know.
And they're like, I don't know. You know what? That sucked.
Did you see me wobble for a second? Like, that is a sport that the person announcing it will point out a problem that I still don't see.
Yeah.
You know,
and
like
they'll say their career is, they're like, well, she blew it. All that work, years and years.
Next year she'll be 16 and she'll have to retire.
Yeah.
So,
because did any of the last Dream Team, like only like one of them is going back, or one or two?
Gabby?
Gabby's going back.
One of them is going to pursue, I believe, a pop career. Like, she wants to be a singer.
Is that Maloney?
Yeah, she's the smirking one.
Oh, I didn't know that about her. I love that. I'm going to research that as soon as I get home as hard as I can.
And she looks very grown.
Yes, she looks 38.
Yeah, she's very mature looking
that
now.
That sport is
very strange.
On the face and the musculature. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, she's grown. Oh, yeah. She's grown up.
Is that?
She went from like America's Sweetheart to looks like she is married to the guy who owns the bar that you go to.
Yeah.
And she didn't like you come in and she's just running them down to you. Like, oh, you're here to see Needle Dick?
The Chugging Monkey's doing really great. We're making a ton of revenue.
But yeah, you do get old fast in that sport.
Yeah, and your body gets weird. Like, I remember like the 1996 Olympic team. I met them, and then like, I think it was Kim Zemeskel, who like years later, she's just like that same like truck of a person. She's so strong, and
Yeah, they're
never grew another inch.
incredibly strong.
Yeah.
I mean, they can just almost fly. They're like a flea where they're on those floor exercises.
Yeah.
They push their bodies so far in the air and
Yeah.
they twirl it. And then they come down and you hear the announcer, oh, too bad.
Yeah. Oh, they stepped a toe out of bounds. That's 10 points off their 10-point maximum score.
Yeah, it's done for her.
She's embarrassed her whole country.
Yeah. Well, she was doing it with a broken leg, but.
And I like their mom-dad coaches. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of parents, but they're closer to being
Yeah.
gotta be perfect.
Yeah.
I worked
thinking.
I coached for Bella Caroli's summer camp when I was like 14 years old. It was like my first job. It was terrible. I got in a fight with this older woman who was like a team captain mom. I ran into her hair at lunch, like got my hand caught in her hair with my lunch tray, and then went back to the like young counselor table and was like, that lady's a bitch. And then she like got her two like minions to go into town and buy a fish and gut it and put it in my bed.
Oh my God.
This is the thing that happened to me.
This is horrible.
What?
Yeah. I got back to my cabin with my little girls. It was like 7 and 8 year olds, and I was in charge of them. And there was gutted whole fish in my pillowcase and underneath my sheets.
That's insanity.
That's insanity.
But the start to a great summer gymnast movie that hasn't been written
Yes,
yet.
exactly. Wet Hot American Summer, but gymnasts and it was in the South.
The
you know, people are
cruelty
crazy out there.
of little girls. Like at that point, you're just like, you'd rather just be like slapped in the
Well,
face.
and all my little girls were so scared. They're like, there's a fucking fish in here. Why is there a fish? And I was like, I don't know. I'm crying too. Let's all go on the porch. It's terrible. I hope she's dead. I hope that woman is dead. She's got to be dead.
We'll look it up. But how did the rest of the summer go after that?
I
was
quit.
You just
I was
out.
supposed to work there for 3 consecutive weeks, and that was my first week there. And I called my mom, and I was like, "Yeah, there's a fish incident, and I gotta go."
You gotta go. I think that's smart because some people would be like, "I'm not going to be chased out of here." No, get chased out.
I was like,
Leave
that's
those kind of people
on another level.
That's Manson shit.
Godfather shit.
Yeah.
I was 13. I was a kid too, and this woman was like a woman.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's dead now.
I think it is good though to let your kids quit sometimes.
Oh,
like parents are very serious about like, no, you can't quit. You never give up. Sometimes it's okay to tell your kids it's all right.
I
It's
like
all right
having
to quit.
it.
Give it on
I
up.
told you to quit everything, even school. But I always like not having to drop you off. Well, great.
Yeah, this is a good idea. I don't think you should go to school either. But yesterday I was coming home from work and it was a hot day and there was a dad outside playing catch with his kid.
In New York City?
Yeah, so I mean I live in Brooklyn and it was like a wide enough
big
street.
sky
Yeah.
country.
Big streets down
Yeah.
there.
So they're playing catch, and then I go inside for a little bit. I come back out to walk my dog, maybe like a half hour, 45 minutes later, and the kid is just like covered in sweat, and the dad's like really serious, and he's like telling about his form. The kid's like really little, and he's like, I would like to go inside. I have a stomach ache. And he's like, you're going to quit then? So you're telling me you're going to quit? It's just like, relax. It's 95 degrees out here. He's already been doing it for a half hour.
He's not good. He's not good at it.
He's 6 or 7 years old. Like, just let him go inside.
By the way, here's the thing. Even if you are good at it, you're still not going to make the pros. You don't understand how good they are.
You got to be like a freak.
Yes.
And you got to notice in a 5-year-old that 5-year-old is a freak, and then they're going to make it. But if they're like kind of, no. I wasn't good. I thought I was. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was terrible. I was like 5'5", like, which is 1 foot over the maximum height.
Right. That's the thing. You have to be, it's just like being a model. You have to be built a certain way. It doesn't have to do with anything else. But when you're a kid, it's your job to think like, hey, I could be great at this. But your parents shouldn't be like that. They should be like, yeah, I know you are. You're doing great.
We need honesty with our children. Like you actually cannot grow up and be whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can't.
When I was
You're not special.
When I was in elementary school, I was like 2nd or 3rd grade, and I loved running. That was my favorite. And my coach, my PE teacher, he was like, you really show a passion for running, And that's really great. And he was like, hey, maybe in a couple years we'll talk about it. I bet I could get you a scholarship to Admiral Farragut, which is like this, like.
How old were you?
I was like 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, that's awesome. That sounds really cool. Which is like, it's like a military high school, I guess.
Yeah, it's a
like
Navy high school.
Navy high school. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And I remember like we talked about it every year. And then I was about 4th or 5th grade. And he's like, that's not going to happen for you.
Yeah.
You are changing. You're not getting tall. You are getting voluptuous.
Right.
This is not going to happen for you. You are not going to be a runner. You are still, 5
Not
foot
even
tall.
in the military. They won't even let you run in the military. That's how bad.
He's like, there's no career
You can't even
in
run from
track for
ISIS.
you.
Yeah.
And it was like really weird. It was like that first age where you suddenly realize when you're like your physical limitations, where you're like, this is all I'm going to be able to do with this.
Yeah.
Diners and Dives just walked by us.
Guy.
And he really does wear his glasses in the back of his head. There's no reason to have them on now like that, right?
Look at how friendly he looks,
Yeah.
though.
And there's the glasses.
Yeah.
He's a very friendly guy. He
I
he's
just
figuring out how-
driving and dives.
Flames.
He's figuring out how to deep fry something. Peanut butter in a shoe.
Bless
Off
his
it
heart.
goes. Yeah.
Bless his heart.
He's got a restaurant down the street that's only been visited by tourists. No
Wow.
New Yorkers
Native
have
New Yorker.
ever- No, I've never been there.
I'm not even sure I knew it existed.
Yeah, it's over on the west side. It got a bad review from the New York Times when it opened. And
Like that Southern hospitality place, Justin Timberlake's place.
Yeah, I've been to that one.
Was it good?
Well, I took.
Yeah, my cousin Steffi went there.
Yeah.
And we had, because like she was young at the time, so we were like, look at, this is JTT's.
Right, and she was loving it.
Wrong, JT. I wish, that's
Justin
my
Taylor
time.
Thomas?
Yeah. Justin
my era.
Timberlake. He's just JT. But your grandmother the whole time was acting like we normally go to better places when we come to New York, but we're here. I'm just like,
She's loving it.
Yeah.
She's loving it.
And I was going like this the whole time. He might be coming in any moment. Is that him?
Ooh, he's disguised himself as the chef.
He looks like a Puerto Rican, doesn't he?
Very short.
I don't know. Does those celebrity chef places ever work out? Well, I mean when a celebrity opens a restaurant, not a celebrity chef.
Right, celebrity chef works out. But
Sandra Bullock had a nice restaurant in Austin, Best, for a while. I went there.
what about Robert De Niro had a place?
Oh yeah, he still does. He has a bunch of places though. He's
Yeah.
part of a restaurant group. One of the people who owns that is Bill Murray. Bill Murray is in on that.
Oh really? And it's in Chelsea or
No, Tribeca.
Tribeca.
Everything that De Niro does is in Tribeca. When he says he's from New York, he just means he's in 3 blocks of Tribeca. Nowhere else. They've got 18 restaurants in Tribeca.
Wow.
But it's a hard thing to pull off a restaurant for anyone.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
Because a lot of people think like, oh, I love restaurants.
Yeah.
I can make one.
Right.
And it's like, no, you really got to have a passion for food and customer service, which are not very passionate. I mean, food is, but it's really got to be about, you care about the customer and the quality of the food. And a lot of people are like, well, I can sell hot dogs.
Yeah.
Right.
And in most cases, if you're not a celebrity, if you're not somebody who already has a huge wealth, then you open a restaurant or coffee shop or anything like that, you have to commit to know that you're going to be there every day for at least the next 2, maybe 3 years before you can get to a place you have enough money to hire someone who can do what you want to do for you.
And by the way, you're paying them more than you've ever made. So now
Exactly.
you put in your life savings, you're not making any money, and you're hiring people who now make more money than
What's
you.
that John Taffer show?
The
Bar Rescue. Yeah, I watched the shit out of that, and I was like, these people were like, well, I took $400,000 and that was all my house. I mortgaged it, and I don't know why people don't want to buy cereal for dinner.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's
They
just
can't believe
terrible.
it. And then
They
he
can't
comes-
believe it.
Then he comes in with the worst idea ever, We'll turn this into a bowling alley / he leaves.
You
and then
gotta
they're-
have a dance floor.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
I
That's
put
my John Taffer.
I put 4 more seats in here. That's going to guarantee you another $85,000.
Yeah.
Based on what? But look at comedy clubs. Comedy clubs are the same way. This is a club that's only open. It sits there for 24 hours a day, and it's open for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's it. You got 22 hours. Nothing is happening at this joint.
You gotta have good food.
Yeah.
Decent food, at least.
But more.
And good comedy.
Yeah.
Good comedy really is important.
But how would you feel like you're in there and you're just at the end, and then some headliner is coming in getting paid a fortune by you, right? And acting like this club sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to make as much money all year as you just made this week.
Yeah. He's like, look at these waitresses waiting the tables. And then you're like, you're rich. You just drove a Lamborghini up to the front.
Yeah. By the way, did you see that thing with the Lamborghini and the goats in the back?
What's that?
It's a video up on the iBank. To me, this is the perfect way to live your life. You have the best of both worlds. Yeah. I mean, you're from Texas. You know, people have money, but their lifestyle stays crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. They're like, I got an extra $1 million this year. I'm going to buy some giraffes.
Yes.
And zebras.
Yeah.
And some lemurs, maybe.
And then hunt them.
And kill them with a Red Ryder.
Now look at this.
Okay, he's got a trailer.
Yeah.
And a Lambo.
And he's just pulling his
Trailer
goats,
for the goats
in the back.
That's money well spent.
It is.
You know? Wow.
That is actually my favorite way to live your life. And it's kind of
That's
what
so
happened.
funny.
Yeah. It's kind of what happened. I think Danny McBride was the first one to point out that white people have just gone batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very Kenny Powers look.
Right.
To be trailing your goats with your Lamborghini.
Good. Wow. I watched the first two episodes of Ice Principles, which is on HBO with him. I thought it was really good.
That shit too, right?
Yeah,
Man,
so
that
good.
Second
It got
episode,
so crazy so fast.
I caught up on it last night because I hadn't watched the second
like,
episode on Sunday.
They're in trouble.
It's really
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah, they've
that
done
moment
something
where like
horrible.
you're kind of like giggling, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, this is really
You're
dark."
like, all right,
and
it's still
scary.
funny, but okay.
Now you're like, I'm not sure this is.
I auditioned for that show, but I didn't get it. But
What?
the girl who got it is really good too. But whatever.
What was
I'm done with that show now.
You're over it?
Yeah, because of you.
Okay, appreciate it.
I'm just watching all your shows.
Yeah, just Orange is the New Black.
That's
it.
fine. That's good. Episode 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of season 4.
But Danny McBride has shown like just that confidence and loathing of where white people have gone in this country. Where I think the time that we started to embrace the redneck in us is when we really...
It's Kid Rock's fault.
Yeah, it's Kid Rock is very big
and
with
Joe
that.
Dirt.
Yeah.
That time, that's when it really was like, yeah, it's okay to drink and drive a boat. It doesn't matter how much alcohol you have, you're on a boat.
Yeah.
It's like, what? No.
Well, there was a time where like people would say, "Oh, my cousin's a redneck," right? Mm-hmm. But now people say, "I'm a redneck," and I've decided to embrace that
Sense
I'm
of
just
pride.
a redneck. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because there used to be a thing where, you would kind of be like, yeah, you're saying that about me, but I know somebody who's really
worse.
like that.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I grew up in Florida, and I remember these kids moved into our neighborhood from Mississippi, and we're like, whoa, look at these guys. Like anyone else probably would have thought that way about us, about our accents.
They have
or
like a jacked up Power Wheels.
Like I remember, like the one kid actually pronounced it like with a T, like he was like Mississippi. Like there was a T in there that I was not aware existed.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to say that forever now. Mississippi.
Yeah, I'm from Mississippi. And I was
that's
this is-
great.
Yeah, but we really felt like, wow, we are pretty superior to some of these other southern states.
I love that old lifestyle though. They'll just like fill a canoe up with ice and put beer in it and act like that's the party. You know? And you're like, that's nuts.
And they invite people over and they're like, yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a John boat and we're going to fill up with ice and everyone's coming over. And people are like, oh, cool. That sounds great. I can picture that happening and I'm going to go and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of firecrackers too and some guns. We got a box of guns. Everybody picks a gun. You shoot it up into the air and then whoever dies everybody pulls for their funeral.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a party.
Now, you've been from Austin. You grew up in Austin, or?
I was born actually in Tennessee and then moved to Texas, Houston when I was like 9.
Right.
And then went to school in Austin at UT and then I've been in New York. Yeah, stayed. My parents moved away to Georgia because my dad gets transferred a bunch. And then so I stayed in Texas and went to school.
Now, how do people in the rest of Texas feel about the fact that people up north love Austin? Does that drive them crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it does. My brother still lives there, and he's like, he's lived there for probably 10 years, I think. Maybe more than that, 15. And he's like, all these people moving in. I'm like, first, you haven't been there that long.
Right.
Comparably.
Yeah.
And like, it really is bad though, traffic wise, and just the population, the road the roads are not up to par with how many people that live there, and it's
nobody was ready for it. Nobody was ready for that. That
and
was
it's
supposed
like
to be
the liberal South, artsy, and it is. That's what it is, and it's great. But it's also a college town,
right?
And it's it's also a filming town. Like there's a bunch of stuff going on down there, and people want to live there because it's awesome. You've got the lake, you've got a lot of cool outdoor hiking stuff. There's the hill country, so it's it's different from the rest of Texas. But it's still hot as shit.
But
can I say shit?
Yeah,
Am I allowed to
you
say
can.
shit. Okay, cool. Shit.
Not that many times,
Okay,
though. I mean,
sorry,
at a
sorry.
certain point.
That was one too many. That was one too many. You're right.
What's with all the shit?
Yeah.
I was enjoying the show, and it was just shit.
I was fine with one or two.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Switch it to fucks. At this point, you got to switch over one.
But you're only allowed one cunt. That's it. That's all you can say.
That was
We're
yours.
done now.
Well, that was
No,
yours.
we're
Do we
done.
each
Yeah.
of us get one?
I think so. I think that's the safest thing for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone make sure you just work it in.
Yeah.
Emily Tarver is in studio with us. She's on the new season of Orange is the New Black, which is streaming now on Netflix. And follow her on Twitter at Emily Tarver.
Emily is so funny. I did that thing with you, the Voss and Bonnie, that
Oh, man.
crazy.
Yeah.
And that was one of the funniest nights. But you and Pete together, there is a strange, weird dynamic
It
that
is
you guys,
weird.
that is so funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't think of them separately that way, but it down like they're each funny separately.
I'm not funny alone.
No, but but when you guys are a couple funny,
Yeah.
it's a weird, different thing than you guys separate.
I think I have, I think I have a little bit of a masculine energy.
Yeah.
And I think he might have a little bit of a feminine energy.
Right.
And so it kind of does a little trick on your brain.
Yeah.
Of like, wait, this is weird. I like it, but it's weird. I haven't seen it before. So, and that's just how we are.
I love the fact that when you saw, like, this game meant nothing to no one, right? But you could see Pete was really worried about getting a wrong answer.
Yeah. I mean, there's an amount of fear-based action that he lives with every day. I think he just, because I do have rage.
Yeah.
I have the rage, and I work really hard to not take it out on him, and it doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't. I try. Poor
How
bless
often
his
do
heart.
you have to yell, though? I mean, is it that he now has this almost nervous post-traumatic stress?
It's pretty often, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I'm in therapy now, so I'm working on it.
Are you really? But
I'm
it's all
working through
about
it.
rage?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of anger.
Yeah.
And I think I know where it comes from. And I'm working on it because I don't want to be mean to him, and I don't want him to live I've heard this my whole life.
Right.
With Emily, you got to walk on eggshells. And I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be a thing that anybody would say to describe me, but it's just the truth. And it's sad.
Yeah.
And it's mad.
Well, but it's not abnormal. I have it. Chris has it. But Gail, I don't think you have it. It'll explode every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah.
I tap into my emotion. I'm like more being sad or crying is easier to tap into
Right.
for me than anger. So sometimes I have to like explain like, oh, this is the way I'm angry. Like
Right.
I'm crying, but I'm not
so
like
angry
broken.
that I'm crying.
That
Right.
I've been moved to tears
Right.
with how angry I am.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
It's a rare thing, but it happens where I do like explode in an angry way.
But I've done the thing later when I'll say to someone, I'm not going to kill your whole family. That's just something I say. When you
Yeah.
don't take that literally.
Yeah.
I'm mad at you. But that thing that I said, if I can take your eye out my thumb, that just,
I'm
that's
just
where I went
joking
at the
around.
time.
It's just hungry.
Yeah, don't we get the metaphor? What we're doing there. You don't have an anger thing though, Vito.
No, I had one really bad when I was a kid. I got kicked out of camps and stuff, and then I had to go to like child therapy and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got over it.
What was your thing? Because your dad died?
Yeah, that's probably where
Yeah.
it came from.
Sure.
But I was a bad kid for a while.
Yeah, well, that'll do it. You feel like life ripped you off. you
Yeah.
know?
I think I get most angry because I think everyone's brain should work the way that mine does.
Sure.
And everyone should think as quickly and as efficiently as I do. And when they don't, I have this moment of like, why am I surrounded by idiots? Why was I placed on this planet as an alien who's the only person that is intelligent and get the fuck out of my way? Don't stand at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
Why would you ever stand at the top of a stairs?
Yes.
That's not a place to stand. I'm getting angry. I'm sorry.
I know, I get it. And see, mine is more personal based than that, but I have a friend who I'm like, you're not the city planner. Stop telling me how the city could run more efficiently. If you really care about that, you got to go get a job with the city.
You got to go do
It's
that.
not up for you of how the parking should change. It's constant.
But I think I would agree. It's a very difficult thing to say. You know, that to have people say like, "Oh, we have to walk on eggshells around you."
Yeah.
But I think it's also difficult for me because when I do snap, everyone's like, well, "I thought you were a nice person."
Right.
I thought you were
What
really
are you
nice, and then you're
hiding?
like,
Yeah.
What have you been
clearly you're
hiding?
secretly a psychopath.
Yeah. And that thing that is will just be like, for some people, it's never forgotten.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, they melt down sometimes.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
people can be mad every day.
And they're allowed to, yeah, exactly. So it's almost like if you access it more frequently, you're better off
That's how
in that
Pete
way.
is. Pete, like,
Yeah.
very rarely will, like, freak out and get really mad and say really crazy things where I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
Are you holding that in all the time? Because you can let it out like a balloon a little bit at a time and you'll feel better and you won't have. He's a great guy.
That's the thing. And people who don't even know him, they're like, he's a sweet guy. He's a great guy. Where's he today?
I just dropped him off. I went to the doctor with him and dropped him off because we think he got a concussion.
What the hell did you do to Pete?
We went.
She's angry.
Pete used to be kind of an extreme sports guy. Like he was
Really?
like a professional skateboarder and a professional competitive skier. And we went wakeboarding in Lake Austin, and he took a pretty hard fall on Saturday, and he's been kind of weird since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So he hurt his ankle, because then he got back up on Sunday and hurt his ankle. And so we were like, okay, you probably have a concussion to sprained ankle. We should probably just go to the doctor. So we went.
So he actually flew with a concussion.
Yeah, is that bad?
Nothing we can do about it now.
Yeah,
It's already
he's here.
happened.
He's safe. Yeah, we flew in yesterday.
Oh boy.
Last night? No, night before last. Sorry, Monday.
Yeah. Because a concussion, everyone thinks it's the hit that causes it, but it's like shaking.
It's a
it.
bruise.
Yeah.
Because your
You're
brain hits
shaking.
your skull.
Yeah. Your brain, I guess, is not supposed
He
to be
brushed
like
his
lodged
teeth
up.
twice last night.
Oh boy.
He was like, I did my whole good night routine where he takes his Zyrtec and he brushes his teeth and he blows his nose. And he was like, I found myself mid-brush doing it all over again.
Oh God, he's stuck in the Matrix.
Yeah. So, and then we were at the stand last night and Aaron Berg came in and he was like, and it took him a minute to go, Aaron Berg! Like he couldn't think of his name.
And we all try to forget him.
We do. We do. Bless his heart. Yeah. So I don't know. He's been a little weird. He's a little dizzy. But he saw a neurologist.
But being an extreme guy, he's probably done this kind of thing before.
Yeah, he had a concussion when he was 10 years old when he went blind for 3 days.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness.
He's extreme, man.
Yeah, that is extreme.
He doesn't look it.
That would be the
I mean, he
end
does,
of
but
my
like-
extremeness. 10.
Yeah.
That I said I was blind for 3 days. I'll never risk that again.
Yeah. You know, little boys.
Yeah, they're crazy.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
I was crazy too, though. I would jump off my parents' house onto the trampoline.
I think back to a couple of things that me and my friends did. And I'm just like, first of all, it's insane. There was not one person who had just even a thought of what danger could be. You know what I mean? And I'm not even saying like we were great at it. I mean, we were just like, hey, let's just do this one thing where we'll jump down there and try to hit that little spot.
Yeah.
No one thought like, because we didn't have the extreme stuff at that time. It was just stupid.
Jumping off the garage onto a table.
Yes, that kind of stuff was like, this would be so awesome. And then you're like, oh, that's dumb.
We, I had a thing where we were very young and we decided that we wanted to build a swing on this tree in the middle of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, we went out there and we were trying to figure out how we could get, and then we're like, oh, wait, let's go to this bigger tree. This will be even crazier. And somebody was like, oh, man, I'd like to, but how are we going to get that up there? And I was like, I'll do it. And I, like, go out on this limb and I go super far. It's crazy high, insanely high that, I wouldn't even go half as high as that now, with railing. I would be terrified. And I remember like going out, tying the rope, losing my balance, being like, ooh, that was scary. And then I remember the feeling of coming down, looking up, and I was like, I almost died. Okay, so that's what that was. I'm not going back. I'm never going to do anything like that. I can't think of ever doing something at that level again where I was
should
like,
be so dead. Yeah, there's just so many times where you're like, I'm dead. I should have been. Did I die? And is this an alternate, like, sliding door thing that happened?
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I've had some close calls.
Actually, I feel like hitting Gail right now because I've never heard this story before. I just want to slap her.
Just slap her. How dare you? That's dangerous.
Do you know what you almost put me through?
Yeah.
But that thing of, oh, yeah, that is higher than I thought. How stupid.
And like, I remember getting down on the ground and everyone being like, that was crazy. Like, that was really scary when you almost fell. And then I was like looking up and being like, oh, that was really fucking dumb. Like, what I did was really stupid. I'm like, you know, for like something we used for like an hour. We used that swing and then we're like, this isn't fun anymore.
It's too high. Swinging too high, it's dangerous.
Let's go look at a television.
Yeah. Man.
Emily Tarver's in studio with us. Emily is on the new season of Orange is the New Black. It's streaming now on Netflix. Follow her on Twitter at Emily Tarver.
Yes.
Emily is, of course, not only hilarious, but, you know, you get these TV shows, seem like they come fast to the rest of us, but you get cool stuff to do.
Yeah, it's weird filming last season of Orange. It's like, you know, we started in July and then finished in December.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wait 6 months and then everybody gets it. And then you get this like influx of Twitter and Instagram followers like, I love you, or you're a bitch, or you're ugly, or you're fat, and you're just like, well, some of that is true, I guess.
And it all happened 6 months ago. So I can't really
and I'm
keep up
already
with it.
over it.
Yeah.
So, it's weird though. The fans, that show has like a crazy fan base.
Yeah, it does.
Of, you know, what I picture as like 14 to 15-year-old like girls who are just obsessed with like the characters, you know, and it's great. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. It's different for me because it's not really a comedic role, which is a challenge because I have to remind myself, number one, I'm not surrounded by comedians. So keep your fucking mouth shut, Emily. These people won't take a joke like the people that you are around every night of your life.
Right.
And also like telling myself, like, don't make that funny. It's not supposed to be funny. I know you want to make it funny, but it's not funny. This is like a serious moment, you know? But it's been fun, and it's been, you know, it's a lot of women. There's a lot of female energy, which I like sometimes. It's great.
I love the fact, though, that you had to point out that comedians talk so horribly to each other that you can't take that.
You can't, like, you really can't. And I've learned my lesson about that a few times in my life where I'm like, oh, wait, these are regular people. I can't, I should just be quiet.
Right.
Because you don't want to rub someone the wrong way and then have like, oh, did you hear Emily? She's a big racist. And you're like, no, oh God, I was kidding. And also, never mind, I'm sorry. And so I find myself putting on a different hat depending on the show that I'm working on.
I think with comedians, it's like a lot of times if you're not paying attention, you think that they don't like each other at all. And what they're like, what they're trying to say through these horrible things is, I love you.
Oh, yeah, I love you.
I love you and I love what you do every night.
Yeah.
And I just want to be next to you and hear you. And this is the only way I can be close.
Like, your turn. Do you want to make fun of me? Let's roast each other at a dinner we planned that's just a private dinner. Yeah. It's a weird thing. You got to like decide who you're going to be depending on the job you have. I've never had to do that before because I've only really ever done comedy. So
that's even since you were a kid, since you know, or you mean in show business?
In show business.
Yeah. Did you take acting lessons and all that, or you just let the stand-up background?
I moved here almost 13 years ago to study improv and do sketch. I think I had it in my head like, oh, I want to be on SNL. And then I started knowing people who got on that show, and it seemed really scary to me and really like, you got to be cool or you're not in, and then that stuff makes me nervous. So I was like, I started doing a lot of commercial acting, and basically improv and sketch was my background. And then I kind of stepped into stand up and then music as well. I was in a comedy band for 6 years.
Yeah.
Called Summer and Eve, where we play like basically original folk comedy music, but like music, like 4-part harmony and instrumentation, not like people who think they're funny who can't sing. Like we were funny and we could sing. That's what made us different.
Well, Mike Birbiglia has just done this movie about.
I auditioned for that too.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Should have got it.
Should have gotten
perfect for it. But it is about that whole thing. Is you're in a sketch show, and then there's only 7 positions that are at the top of that at Saturday Night Live. You know?
Yeah.
And even though so many of those people have gone out and done, so many different comedy movies and shows of all different kinds now, but everyone's initial dream is SNL.
Yeah,
that does it.
Because it's the varsity football team,
right?
It's like, where can you go to be at the top of comedy in the middle of the country? Like where do people who are from the Midwest know about comedy? And it's SNL.
I idolized it when I was a kid. It's just obsessed over it. And I think it's also a lot of people's or young people's first experience with funny women. So you're like, there's like always the funniest women
absolutely
are on that show.
From the beginning.
So then at different parts of my life, I was like, I thought that being in the cast would be the coolest thing. And then I was like, wait, no, being a writer on that show would be the coolest thing. And it's always weird to hear from people like, oh, I had like the worst time of my life,
their hair falls
just
out.
like that their experience was just like, I appreciate where it got me, but like I have a stomach ulcer and like I'm just like I'm
that's crazy. That sounds so not ideal to me because I'm already stressed out about whatever I'm working on, and to have that like frenetic, like everyone is like vying for this screen time or these character, to get your face out there and have to do it in a week and it be live. And like, that makes me, I think I would crap out within the first 6 months.
Some really talented people, some of the funniest people you ever met, just I couldn't take it there. It was too much. And then other people, it's just like perfect for them.
Yeah.
Like they just do it and they're like, I never want to leave here. I want to be here forever.
Yeah.
And when you hear about that, whatever night it is that, you write all night and you're like, well, that's not healthy. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to make a good show.
No.
I didn't even think down. I don't know if you guys have got to go to the dress rehearsal one night because there's like 7 other sketches with costumes, with, the sets built and they're doing it 10 minutes before the show to see whether it gets cut or not.
And now think of like whatever young,
seems unnecessary.
Like whatever young writer wrote that sketch, and they're just like sitting there going like, please keep this sketch like this. Like if I get this sketch on the air, then they're going to realize that I'm important here, and I haven't, I've been here for weeks, and I haven't even got one joke on the air yet. So they live and die by like their one little piece, and when that gets thrown out, they got to start over and hope like weeks from now something else will pick up for them.
Right.
It's so stressful. I don't think I could. I know I couldn't handle it.
And then you're just throwing quantity of jokes constantly.
I think I could have handled it if it happened to me in my 20s.
You think that's the time?
Yeah, like if I was 24 and I got on there and I was kind of like, I'm awesome at this. I'm really good and confident. But after I started comedy in New York when I was 21. After like 7 years of kind of feeling like no one appreciated me, I started to not appreciate myself and think I was bad and think I was an idiot for even trying to do this. And like, I'm just like every other person from the middle of the country who's like, I have a big dream. I'm going to go chase it. And then I let that like I think that's what made me stop kind of doing live comedy was that, I felt like people didn't think I was good. And so I started that invincibility when you first get here goes away and you're like, maybe I'm not good. I'm mediocre. I'm not bad, but I'm not great and you need to be great. So I should just coast.
It's just like the stuff that we were talking about when you're young and you're doing this stuff that is terrifying that you could never put yourself in that position. Like, you know, you're not going to be like in your 40s and be like, I'm going to hop on this skateboard and like go down a ramp for the first time.
Yeah.
If you grew up doing that, maybe you can do it.
Right.
But like you have to have that like initial thing where you're like, I'm not afraid, or I'm not even aware that falling could happen.
And like moving to New York, that was crazy for me. I didn't know a soul. I lived in a hallway for 4 months. And now thinking like my agents are like, maybe you should move to LA. And I'm like, that's terrifying. I'm scared to death of that. I never want to move anywhere ever again.
Yeah.
But back then you're like, I'll move to New York. I don't need to know anybody. I've got $500. I'll be fine. $500 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And it's like, no, it's not.
But there's also a thing in life where, you know, you could always find someone doing better than you, and then you feel depressed. So you're like, well, you know, I got my own show and all, but I'm not David Letterman.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm never going to be David Letterman. It's like, maybe not, but like David Letterman, like, you know, like, not that any amount of it is luck, but there is an amount of it that's luck, timing, where you're just like timing and luck. And it's like, you kind of get on a wave that skyrockets you, or you don't, or you give up, and it's just, you just gotta think about the people who are worse than you and they're never gonna make it, and then that'll make you feel better.
But I don't know whether this is good or worse, but then you'll see an interview with David Letterman. He's going, you know, doing that stupid show for that many years and having to fucking appeal to these ham and eggers. You're like, even you're unhappy.
Yeah. It's, you can't, because I think when you have that bug in you to be an entertainer, to be someone quote unquote special, it's never satisfied. And that's what creates incredibly successful people, is that they're like, I had my own show, but like, when am I going to be the president of the United States of America? You know, like, it never ends for those people. No one specifically.
Which is probably why most people you've ever idolized because of their success, if you met them, you would just fucking hate them. Because like, I think that like, because that's to have a successful personality, like a super driven person who is going to be, let's say, the biggest movie star, or runs a business that, you know, like runs a company that is just like insane. These personalities are not going to be somebody who can think about anything other than...
They don't have a lot left over.
They're like a shark who can't stop moving, you know? So I think that sometimes...
It's better to be mediocre.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Before I got a chance to meet so many people in rock, I thought that the cool quotient was more important than it obviously is. Like, you can actually make cool music and still be either a dick or a nerd or some combination of both.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought cool was the reason why this guy could pull that off. But
no.
It very rarely is.
Yeah.
It's either talent or drive in many cases, or just
extreme ego.
Yeah.
Which takes us back.
There's all ego.
Yeah. Which is that thing of ego without talent is still the funniest thing in the world, because it's the thing that we're going to run into the most, you know? Yeah. If someone just takes a look on him, I did it. And you're like, I don't know, dude.
Like, that's why I loved the first rounds of American Idol. I loved that beginning when people would come in there and they like, no one has ever told them that they were good at singing their whole life.
Right.
And they're like, I can sing. And they literally, their brains glitch out when someone's like, no, you didn't actually sing any of the notes of that song. And they're like, no, I did. I sang real loud and hard. That's how I did it.
I certainly felt like
I pushed it out of my body and it sounded good. So they don't understand the math of music.
Send me to Hollywood now.
And they're like, their whole psyche is broken.
Yeah. Right.
Because they don't know. It's weird. It's a weird psychological ego glitch out.
Or like, you could feel that way about comedy too. Like, if, seeing open micers, people who are just starting.
Oh my God.
And they just have they're like, I want to do this.
Right.
But then you're like, yeah, but has there ever been a circumstance where you were in a group of people and you made an observation and then everyone laughed at said observation? If that hasn't happened, what made you think like, I'm going to do that on a stage?
I used to say that a lot when I started out in improv because there's a lot of people that love comedy. They're huge comedy nerds and they could play Trivial Pursuit SNL 50 anniversary and beat your ass at it. But they love it and they think because they love it that they should do it.
Right.
And it's like, no, be a producer. You'll be so good at producing.
Right.
Or,
Yeah. How about be a fan? You know what I mean? Like, I love being a rock and roll fan, but I never strapped the guitar on and go walking out Madison Square Garden. No.
It's a weird, it's a self-awareness thing.
Right.
Where you're not paying attention to the feedback you're getting from the world and you're just going on your own.
Well, I think when a lot of stand-ups will notice that person not laughing and be wondering about him. And I think that's the guy who's almost a little jealous. Like, I should be doing this shit.
Yeah.
Not sitting here with my wife, but I should be up there.
Yeah.
You know?
So go for it, man. Get on up there. I love that when I see those clips on YouTube where it's like a comedian getting heckled and he's like, come up here, give it a shot. And then the guy gets up there and he's like, this guy's an idiot. And it's like so terrible and wonderful to watch. This guy's telling jokes. I'm all like, I'm here in my t-shirt. And it's like, no, honey, I love it.
Well, I had my own club before. It would be amazing that somebody would like, you would say, all right, I'm going to give you, the 5 minutes or whatever, an open mic night. And their opening line would be something like, how come you never see any chink retards? And they're like, oh, what? Nothing. And you're just like, why would you open with that, dude?
You got to ease us into that. That's got to be your closer, bro.
My favorite one is a guy came up and he had it was like from the Eagles album. It was like one of those steer skulls, right? Mm-hmm. So he walks up with it and he puts it on his head and then he goes just like this. Ah, fuck this. And he walks off. And I'm like,
oh my God, that's brilliant.
I don't know what he was expecting. The people would be like, Stairhead is fucking great. You would be able to milk that.
Fuck this. Forget it. If you don't like this, then you're not going to like anything else I have to say.
I didn't plan on saying anything.
God, this fucking crowd don't get it. Fuck them. Yeah. I'll go somewhere that does. All right, we got to wrap this up. It's great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming
in. If Pete needs a brain, any of us would give it to him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him
find a donor.
Gotta find a brain donor.
Yeah,
check out Emily Tarver on the new season of Orange is the New Black. It's streaming now on Netflix, and follow her on Twitter at Emily Tarver.
That's it for us. We're off to Montreal, and we'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!